Right, yeah, man.
All right, everyone. We are live. Welcome to another episode of the Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, or BRAF, as we're famously known as, coming to you at 10 o'clock tonight. And the reason why we started at 10 p.m. this evening is because we do have a special guest joining us, and we wanted to accommodate this time slot to get him on. Long overdue, I must say, sir.
Yes.
We have none other than the Mooch.
What is up, buddy? Yo, guys, honestly, it's an honor to be here, to be honest with you. You know, I've known Enrique from, my God, I want to go all the way back to, it's got to be 2014, 2013. Yeah. Been talking games with a lot of these cats for a long time, and to be able to be on this show, I told you, me and Enrique, we both at the same time played Reunited, okay, together on a podcast. Made this happen, okay? We did this because, you know, realistically, everybody on this panel, man, first of all, props to everybody. And shout out, I got to give shout out to Worth, to the Iron Lords, who did a great job. I had a blast with them last week on their show, man. That was off the charts. You guys have all been great. We're coming here, hanging out. This is the reason we are all doing these podcasts, is this very weekend right now. We are living it because you've got Cognito and what he said. I can't wait to get back to the grind in Destiny. We've got Spider-Man coming out in 24 hours for some folks, okay? Right? This is a weekend where there's just so much to talk about and actually do. This is, to be honest with you, Christmas is coming real early this year for all of us. So this is a good time right now.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Only thing we don't have is more time. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely don't have time, and I've officially joined the 4K club, so my time has been somewhat very limited the last couple of days. So.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Brad, by the way. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats,
Big
man.
time.
Yes.
Big time.
No, I appreciate it. B Money, man, I'm going to have to talk to you, man, on the side and figure out how you game it, because you're part of that club, man. So
you call it the 4K club. I got it now. I just got the science behind it. I'm like, what you got? Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I see. That's what happens when you get 4 kids. It's like you get a little bit slow on the uptake. You just like you're so tired. Just like, wait, wait a minute, what 4K? 4K?
Yeah, I give you guys props, man. Because I have one, and I'm just like, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. That's one. I don't know how you guys do it.
Oh man, you just do it, man. You just wake up in the morning, you just do it. You go to work, you know.
No, the real question is, who gets the 5 first, you or B?
Oh, we're not playing that game, man.
Who gonna debut the NBA 2K roster?
Yeah, right.
No rush, man. I'm in no rush.
Yeah, I'm not getting there. I'm done, man. This is it for me. I'm done. So, without further ado, we have some other guests this evening. We have Gaming Forte, who joined us last week, who dropped one hell of a bombshell of a I guess a news update, I guess, regarding a certain Red Dead Redemption game that's coming out, and something that was put out there. I forget what news site it was. One of the media sites reported about some people apparently falling asleep during a Red Dead Redemption 2 presentation that Gaming Forte. So, dude, you broke that news here, man.
I know, man. I was actually at conference still when that happened. I had literally just seen it like not even 3 hours before that, and was like, "Look, man." I was like, "Look, man. Hey, don't. Hey, this is the one thing that I want to tell everybody. The news stations was making it seem like they were coming out saying that the game sucked, and they said, "Oh, Red Dead Redemption is going to make you want to fall asleep." No, what they showed you wanted to make you fall asleep. People was watching horses literally walk down the savannah drinking water, and it was like a 25-minute video of just watching a horse gallop across the horizon and stuff. It was the most boringest thing ever. But guys, the game's going to be great. Don't worry about that. But just say, we all look like this. When it came to Microsoft and Sony this year at E3, the reason a lot of people gave Microsoft a win is because their presentation was on point. And people were sitting there saying, well, Sony didn't matter about presentation. I'm like, it's all about the games. Yeah, you're right. It's all about the games. But for a person that's sitting there watching and you're trying to encourage those people to like really push your game for you during the holiday, you ain't do no favors for those people by showing the demo that you showed. And that was the biggest thing that most of those people were talking about when they were talking about the actual demo itself. The game itself looked fine. things that they showed was awesome. It just wasn't set for a demo atmosphere like they did during that little 25 minutes.
And you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I thought that was odd that some of the journalists kind of ran with that though, because I mean realistically, like, listen, you could ask somebody's grandparents, right, that was in the mall, be like, excuse me, what did you guys think of the new Avengers movie? They'd be like, it sucked. You know what I mean? You'd be like, well, of course it's against two grandparents. I mean, who's gonna take that and run with it to Hollywood and be like, these two grandparents thought this sucked? My whole thing is I don't get me wrong, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I was a little shocked when I saw so many people kind of running with that, like 5 people behind a closed door, a couple people yawned. And like you just said, Forte, they literally showed you like horizons and like, you know, different landscapes and views. And look, it's not exciting. Of course it's not. Like it's like watching a Bob Ross painting come to life. You know, right, I mean, exactly. It is, right? It's not, I don't think that's exciting either, but I wouldn't exactly run with that when you've got possibly Game of the Year candidate type of material here. You know, I thought that was an interesting thing that the media ran with.
Well, you know, from what I took from it, mostly just from the conversation that all the media outlets was having, it's the fact that Red Dead, Rockstar doesn't come out and like share anything about their game until they're ready to show it. So, like, even when I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting in that auditorium, and when Rockstar came up on the screen, I'm like, is Rockstar really here? I was like, dude, Rockstar didn't even show up to E3 for Sony to show it at their thing, so they're actually here. Right. So I was a little shocked by that. So I will say this: I think a lot of people's expectations when Rockstar did show up to show something was a little bit I want to say they mismanaged their expectations of what Rockstar was going to show them. So they showed some what was it, 2011 or 12? They showed Grand Theft Auto 5. That was the last time they showed anything like behind closed doors to GameStop associates and stuff. And what they showed was amazing. So I think people were really hoping that they would show something like that again. And when they didn't, they was like, man, you just showed the bare minimum of what most people would do. And I just think my thought process on it was, I can literally play the game myself and do what you showed me in this game. When I looked at it, I was like, I'm not gonna walk across the whole savannah in a slow walking like pose to actually take in the environment. That's something I'm gonna do in my own time that I have just sitting there playing the game, probably in party chat, listening to one of my other friends bitch about what's going on Twitter or something. That's when I'm going to listen to that type of stuff. I'm not going to do that while I'm trying to enjoy the game and see what the game has to offer to me.
Right. You know, I found it very odd that, like as you said, that's all they showed. I would think they would want to show maybe like one side mission, kind of give, you know, the audience the idea of like what the quests are like or something. But to just sit there and you're looking at a horse and
but you know, that's you wasn't feeling the question simulator 2K19.
Oh Lord! Well, no, they showed 2 missions. They showed the horse simulation, and then they showed the like a part of a bank heist. So they did show some side missions, and don't get me wrong. That's why I say the game's going to be really good, because the parts that they showed that were good were really good. The conversations between the posse as you're going in and trying to take the bank and stuff was really good. It was real organic. It sounded like something straight out of Tombstone when you actually watched and played it. So those were all like fantastic parts of the game. It was just the beginning part of it was like, why did you just start with this?
Gotcha. Hey, real quick, guys, before we move on to our first topic of the evening, I do want to make another special introduction, our special guest of the evening. Introducing a man who lifts weights at 4 in the morning and tweets about it. I'm sorry, man. My man, Lord Cognito.
What's going on, people, man? This is so fun, man. We got everybody. I'm on BRAP finally in a long time, so it's good. We got my boy Mooch in the building. B-Boy haven't seen. You know, oh man, Game of Forte. I've actually. I think we crossed paths a couple of times, you know what I mean? But shout out to everybody. Of course, the usual suspects. You know what I mean? Slow mo. This is gonna be fun, man. I'm glad I got the invite. You know it's love, Brap. If I come through on a Destiny off week, you know it's love.
I do. I do. And I knew you were going to be off this week because of Destiny. So I said, you know what? Let me DM him real quick.
Yeah.
See if he can spare an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
To come on
it, man. You called
and
it.
talk about some Forsaken. So let's jump into that because I think we've all been looking. Well, maybe not Slow Mo because he's a Division fan.
Hey, look. I am not a Destiny hater as
Lord.
You are not. You are not.
Look, I love Destiny 1, and I was somewhat disappointed with Destiny 2, but I'm willing to give them a chance again. Someone said they was going to give me the trash DLC.
I'm still waiting for you to tell me that you bought Forsaken so I can do it.
Wait, why? Wait, hold on.
Because I don't trust you.
You don't trust me. Okay, wait a minute.
I don't trust you.
What? I'm gonna buy Forsaken that I can't use without the actual.
And as soon as I see a screenshot saying that you own Forsaken, I will literally gift you a copy of the expansion pass.
Oh, come on, Slow. Come on.
Oh, Slow. Come on, man.
All you gotta do is send me a picture, bro. Send me a picture saying that you own Forsaken on your system. And I will gift you that expansion pass. I told you I will.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, so Forte, let me get this straight. So if he buys the Forsaken for $40, you're gonna buy the season pass.
Well, he has since you have to have Warmind and Osiris to play it.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
He doesn't have those, so I told him,
and I don't want those.
And he doesn't want them. I will buy those DLCs for him.
Okay, now I follow you.
Dude, Slow Mo, you got to take him up on this, man. Come on.
Absolutely. Take that offer, Slow Mo.
He didn't explain this until now. Before it was just like, all you said was, I'm gonna message you with the codes for that. I was like, as soon as I got that, I was gonna pay for Forsaken and I'll be all set. But now you're like, oh, you need screenshots. You need to see my credit card. You need to see everything. I need to fax you a receipt to your GameStop store. I got all kinds of other stuff.
Slow Mo. Who is the person that we take most likely after?
I don't know who. Don't
exactly.
So
we're just gonna skip by. We're gonna skip by that and act like I didn't just make sure that I wanted to have a receipt from you to make sure you do it.
Okay, look, I said I was going to do it. I wouldn't take your generous gift and then not actually do anything with it because I don't want to actually play Curse of Osiris.
Slow-mo, why are we having a conversation, man? He's gonna give you 3 deals. I don't understand why this is even
an issue. Let's go.
Yeah.
I will do it tonight.
That's what I want to hear. Let's go.
All right.
There we go. We got another Destiny player. I love it.
That's right. Indoctrination. Go.
All right. So all right. So Forsaken is finally released. I've probably spent about an hour in it so far. I haven't gotten too far into it. But I do want to get our guests' thoughts. I know Mooch, you're a big Destiny fan. Why don't we start with you? What are your thoughts so far on Forsaken, man? Has this lived up to the hype? Is Destiny back?
Here's the thing, and it's kind of a trick question, Enrique, because to be honest with you, it is back for the folks that have always been here, right? That's the thing that when people say sell me on Destiny, I said I can't sell you on Destiny. What I can sell you on is the community. We all come back every 3 to 6 months and we play. We enjoy this, right? We get together. Let's talk about Forsaken though for a second. The music in it, the music score is phenomenal.
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal. These are things that people won't talk about unless you're in like these kinds of podcasts, right? Where we kind of get down to the nitty gritty because we enjoy every aspect of the game. The acting is unbelievable. Okay. It's just I didn't even care about the whole Cade thing originally. And I sat there last night and watched that go through. I watched that whole thing play through and I said, damn, that kind of hits you in the feels. You're like, damn, I didn't want this character to die. I'm like, tell me, I thought for some reason when we jumped down there, this thing was a big hoax and we were going to bring Cade back to the tower. I'm like, somebody get Cade back to the tower. So that didn't happen. But realistically, there's writing, there's story. Your character, as little as it does happen, he is speaking again. The music score, the new weapons, the light level being enhanced tremendously by over 200. You've got just every aspect. The god rolls are back. The reason the grind is back. The bounties are back. Okay. It is just, it doesn't stop. And if you love what Bungie's done from the day of inception with, Halo to where we are today, I just find it very hard for anyone to say, I hate Destiny. Now, I did kind of break this down on Xbox Nation just about an hour ago. Every game, whether we're going to get into the Spider-Man game, we're going to talk about Destiny, we're going to talk about any game you want, does get repetitious. The question is what game has that repetition that fits your mold? That really is your forte, right? That's the game that we all, and I think a lot of people on this panel happen to be first-person shooter fans. That's why, right? So this is a game that is so crisp. It plays so well. And here's the other thing. I don't like when people say this game costs too much money. I don't understand that, frankly. I paid $90 for the original for the first year. I paid the $70 for the second. So you're in the hole around $160, give or take. Some people didn't get the full packs. You didn't have to pay the $90 if you didn't want to get the extra skins and all that. So these are games. We've all bought games for $60 and we were done with it in 2 weeks, guys. Okay, and that's not a slight on the game. That's what the game was designed to do, and we bought it knowing that. But this is a game here where I'm personally 160 in the hole, and I've got about 300 and something hours. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I've got. Right. And we got another year of content, guys. We haven't even touched the surface on Forsaken and what's coming in the season pass. So I think this game has so many different elements, and I can go on and on. I want to hear the rest of the panel. I just think that this game has really hit home, Enrique, on what you're asking. Is it back? The answer in short is yes. But as you guys know me, and if you guys know me over the years, I can do a 2-hour show where I don't shut the hell up on why Destiny truly is back. All right, so I'll pass it over to another panel member, but I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say too.
Lord Cognito, go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. I think Mooch has pretty much nailed it. I think it's one of those things that is for the Destiny community, this is coming to get color again. And just off the back, the game's really doing a fantastic job, a better job of storytelling. One of the problems I've always had, with the exception of Taken King, is that, they've always had an issue with narrative flowing from campaign to end game to raid. And that was one of my biggest concerns. And the other concern was that, there was a talk that once with Warmind, they found out what the hardcore community wants, the grind, as well as for powerful weapons, things like Sleeper Simulant, things like Whisper of the Worm. Those quests are Bungie at its peak, where the community comes together, they find the secret. When they discover it, then it's like, oh man. And when you get it, you realize how powerful this thing. And that was the mistake Destiny 2 started with. It was an over casualization, and then the rewards weren't that great. So it's like, why am I going to do a prestige raid if all you're going to give me is a different color to a shotgun that I don't really care about? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where they finally, and I talked to you numerous times before, Brad, with the Destiny Community Summit, and I always felt that was a turning point. And shout out to my boy Mylan Games. He went out there, and once I knew they had him on the panel from a lore perspective, I knew they were in good hands. So is it going to be, oh my God, this is the most greatest story I've never? I'm not going there, but I will say it is very impactful. The Cade situation, they give you motivation, they give you reason. I'm not going to spoil, but Aldrin is an interesting character.
Yes.
And I didn't know where they were going with that. And as I've gotten to the end of the campaign, I've beaten the campaign, and now starting the end game, the game is still continuing with cinematics, with story, with things. And I'm just like, wow, this I didn't expect this. So, short term, I'm with Mooch. Right now, it's back. You've got the grind. You've got the random roles, just having different weapons and each one unique. And you're like, man, you have tough choices to make now. You're like, I got to try this gun, but this one has this. And it's just so good. They also still respected the hardcore by not making things so easy to get, but the UI is cleaned up. They're giving you a path to explore. They're giving you reasons to go to the planets now. So all in all, I'm going to say yes, short term. I'm going to reserve judgment until next week when the raid comes out. That's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for my guys like Addict. We are raid guys, and I have to see if narratively they have that connection as well, and if it's a satisfying experience. But I would say this: if you love Destiny, if you love the gameplay, let me tell you right now, Mooch is on it. The music is outstanding. There's parts I'll spoil one spoiler. But when you come to the towers post Cade, it's a different.
Yes, dude.
Oh, it's a different. Like you feel away. like it's a different type of movie. So, like I said, I'm going to reserve judgment till the raid comes out. But if you're a fan of the game, if you're a fan of great gunplay, random, all the things that you complain, if you love Destiny 1, it's back. It's in the game. The random rolls, weapon placement, the crucible, all that stuff. And there's a ton of things to do. So that's where I'm at. Can't wait, man. I'm hyped. Like I said, you're on the clock, man. You're on the clock.
I want to piggyback real quick off of what Cognito just said. And it's one of the things I said, and he said it, and I want to just explain it. The community. Yeah. Like he said, when you find out there's a secret layer or that whole thing, right? Whether you're going to get the worm or you're going to get the sleeper, when people find stuff out and then it gets in a good way, gets exposed, okay? And then it goes out there, and then what happens immediately? You know what? And I'll give you just an example. Right after I got done with Iron Lords, what did I do? I went in and I was playing Destiny. Right. Who jumps into my game? King.
Yes.
He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I need to get this done. Let's do it." Bang. Yes. I'm just saying, like, you don't understand. We all play all these other games, right? You can have your favorite game, like, no, Mooch, this game trumps this. That's fine. You can say that game beats this game out. But what game do you have where people are like, "You want to go get the worm tonight? Let's go get it." You know what I mean? That's
such a community-driven game. Yeah, you nailed it.
And that's what brings this game to another level, Cognito. You know what I mean? That's, people don't want to talk about it, but that's what makes this game stand out for people who don't understand why we like it. Yes.
Absolutely. And the last point I'll make is they've even incentivized that even more, because now they have things with the clan and everything where they incentivize you to play with clanmates, to do things so that you can also gain rewards. So again, for the people who don't understand it, they're like, why do you, it's the same thing over. Right? I get it, but here's the thing: there's no game from a cooperative standpoint, from a gunplay standpoint. we can't even knock it graphically, y'all. Like graphically, it's looking good out here.
Those cutscenes are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just that perfect combination of community, cooperative play, music, story, gunplay, and you just hooked. And that's the hook of Destiny. That's why it's still where it is. And to see them come back from where they've been, this is a tremendous achievement so far.
No, I agree, man.
So from what you guys have played so far, how are you guys feeling about the next 3 smaller expansions?
I can jump in. All right, here's the deal. Shout out to my boy Abantis. We do Flashpoint every week, and we talk about like the roadmap. So it looks like the next one is going to be called Black Armory. Supposedly, we find some, I don't know if it has to do with the 9, those guys, but secret weapons and powerful weapons. I heard machine guns. Machine guns are coming back in that one. Post that they have, because obviously the new mode they have right now is called Gambit, and it's this character called the Drifter, who's a very interesting character. I like the character so far. So that story is going to be about him, from my understanding. And then with both the Armory and that what is it, Joker's Wild, they're both going to have raid layers, right? So they're going back to the raid layer thing, which I'm not, be honest, not the biggest fan of, but I understand they want to produce more content and give us, at least not give us raids, right? So they're giving us a smaller version of a raid with both of these different DLCs. And then the last one, I believe, is Penumbra, which is in the summer. So again, it's 3 content updates. And Penumbra, my only beef, which is they're going back to the Leviathan on that one. And I don't know how
come on,
I don't know how I feel about going up from 2B, 2C, and 2D of the Leviathan. I'm kind of little Leviathan down, but apparently we're supposed to get a conclusion to that story. So that's my only beef with it. But I like the content. I like consistent content drops. That was something Destiny 1 always had a problem with, because when Division came out, they were during a drought. And the community left. So you got to keep the content coming. So it just remains seeing how meaty each one will be. But I do like the idea of a fall DLC, a spring, and then a summer. I do like that.
Yeah.
So I just you guys feel like they raised the stakes as far as like taking that shot, taking that chance? Because I remember you, Cog, like after E3, you were like, "Yo, not my boy Cade."
Yeah.
So like Mooch just said, like you see that kind of coming up, and then you kind of go, are they tickling our ass with a feather? Is it going to be like they're just messing around, or are they really going for the stakes?
No, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah. They do something cinematically that lets you know, this is what it is.
The fact that they did such a major move with a beloved character, let's just put it like that. And I don't think it really ruins anything. We kind of all known this for a while. But the fact that they did something that drastic immediately, like think about anytime you went to one of your favorite movies. I don't care. You go to any theater, you've seen your favorite movie. It's usually when that first 20 minutes when something absolutely like jumps you out of your seat, like, holy shit, I didn't see that coming. Like this is that element that when you know they're gonna do that, you know you're in for the long haul for the story. And the thing about it too is like I think a lot of people get a little over wrapped up in the story. Don't get me wrong, story is important, okay, and it depends on the game. Story is important, but a lot of times we sit here and we talk about nostalgia, right? And I'm not sure which person on this panel is the bigger fan of the retro games that are out there. But when we go back to the classics, when we talk about Mega Man, you talk about Zelda, you talk about Bionic Commando, you talk about Contra, you talk about Castlevania, people like Metroid. I can't wait to get back into this. Like, even if you want to go back to your JRPGs, you want to go back to Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, let's talk about that. There's no story in there that really had you biting your nails. You know what I mean? Like, but it was the gameplay and it was the grind, right? Even let's talk about that. The JRPGs that really kind of got you. People like, I love Final Fantasy 3, 2, and 1. Those are my favorites, right? That was all about go out there and you got to grind, right? Dragon Quest, you got to go grind. These are the things you had to do to go back and earn the keep that you could to go fight the next boss. And in this case, it's partially you have to go out there and do that grind to fight the next boss, but it's also realistically, here we are in 2018 in the social media we all live in. You got people like Cognito, he's gonna be like, if you don't get some better looking drabware on that Warlock, you're not hanging out with me, right? You gotta grind to look good for your crew.
You gotta look good.
It's power, it's boss fights, it's style, it's everything. So you got to play the game to get that. You know what I mean? And I encourage anybody. And PlayStation right now, they're giving the game away for free right now. Pick that up as a Mooch. That's Mooch approved.
That's Mooch approved.
Pick that up.
One last thing. Shout out to Ariana78 in the chat, Brad. He's saying, but no more cinematic campaign. That's my only gripe with the annual pass. Actually, that's not true because I thought
true. Not true.
Yeah, I thought that they were gonna kind of go pull back on cinematics because they wanted to focus on the hardcore. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, again, without spoiling, this is the most cinematics I've seen. You know what I mean? In Destiny, like I'm like, wait a minute, I thought they were gonna pull away from that. So again, that part you don't have to worry about. If you're worried about them thinking about doing that with the game, direction of the game, they have not done that. They are still cinematics.
Well, they did say cinematics though. I think he's mostly talking about the annual pass. They did say they are pulling back on cinematics in the annual pass content because they want to concentrate on just the story itself. But when the next major comment or the next major version of Destiny comes out, you will see the cutscenes in those.
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha. All right, Forte. I'm assuming you've played Forsaken already then.
20 hours so far.
Legit. All right. What are your thoughts so far?
So during my sleep deprived 12-hour session yesterday,
Jesus man,
and my 8 hours today, because I took these 2 days off just for this. I will probably just say straight out that I believe Destiny's back. It's back. But for the same reasons that they mostly said, because if you were a person that didn't get into Destiny or had your cores with Destiny before, nothing's really going to bring you to the game because all the changes they made in this game are changes that you had to experience over the long, gruelous 3-4 years of them building this game to be exactly what this game is today. Most people see the content and they look at it, it's like, man, it looks the same. I said, well, it might look the same to you, but for a person that's been playing this game for like 3,000 hours, this is a godsend, everything I'm seeing in this game right now. Just everything that they're doing for the player when it comes to making all the content relevant in the game. Like, when's the last time you really wanted to run a lost sector, like just to run it? Well, you have thousands of reasons to run a lost sector now. I was running lost sectors in the game that I didn't even touch in Destiny 2 in the beginning because it gave me a reason to do it. They did what most people wanted them to do. Like there's things in the game like rally on flag locations for the raid we have now. So you can literally buy consumables to actually help you not have to say, hey, let's run, let's do a ammo run in the raid just so we can get our heavy ammo or get our supers up. No, you can buy a consumable in the game that allows you to do that because that's what the community wanted. It's so many different things that they're doing. The campaign is amazing. Once you make it to the Dreaming City, the music is even better there.
Dreaming City is amazing.
Oh my God.
That's some Lord of the Rings type.
It's on some other stuff, dude. Like when I got there,
I'm about to end the show.
Dude, when you get to the Dreaming
City. I was about to say, why you guys here?
Yeah, why are we here right now?
This is love.
I'm not telling you that.
This is love.
When you make it to the Dreaming City, it's like a whole nother game. It's like you're in the end game, literally, just like Doctor Strange said in the Avengers movie. This is the end game where you're at. Everything changes when you're there. And guess what? I'm only on my first character, 20 hours in on one character. Haven't even touched my 2 other arts yet. I'm already thinking to myself, like, man, how long is it going to take for me to actually get through all 3 characters? It is real for a person that literally just likes to grind video games. And Mooch is 100% correct when it comes to Destiny. Speaks to those people that likes first-person shooters. If you are a first-person shooting fan, there is nothing that comes close to this game on the gameplay level. Just anything that this game has to offer. I love Halo. Halo is my favorite franchise ever, and they finally done something that even that game hasn't done for me, and that's give me an investment system that really matters long term. Now it all comes down to them staying consistent with it throughout the rest of this year. They gave us a beautiful roadmap. What we got right now is golden. I give them huge props on that. The raid, I think, is going to be fine because they always do fine with the raids. The raids, I feel like, will always be the crown jewel of the game itself. Some people didn't like Leviathan. That's just because of the whole game style, game show type atmosphere that they had. But guess what? It still was some of the best content that was in the game, and people still played it for 12, 13 hours trying to beat it. So that still lets you know that people enjoyed it enough to do it.
Not to cut you, because you're nailing it, man. You're on fire. What about, I guess my question for you as a hardcore Destiny player, what about raid layers? Because I agree with you. I feel the Leviathan was phenomenal. Leviathan won. I'm talking about like since then with Eater of Worlds and Spire of Stars.
I'll ask you this. What do you think Crota was?
Crota was definitely like two rooms, right? If you really look at it, it's like maybe 3 rooms.
Literally, think about it. It was like I believe it was their experimentation with raid layers, because think of a raid layer, like think of Eater of Worlds. You got the beginning part where you're running through it. You got your second part where you're actually going through like the little part where you actually die. Right. Part. Then you have the first encounter with the boss, and you have the second encounter with the boss. Think of Crota. You had the lamps in the beginning. You had you had the bridge.
My point to you
is comes to that.
Do you not think it's a regression based on the standard they've set with like a Taken King, with even Wrath of the Machine, which I thought was fantastic. Leviathan, I'm a little concerned with the raid layer aspect, but then when I speak to devs and some insiders behind people are like, hey, you don't realize how intense and how difficult it is to design.
Yeah.
A raid.
All the raids you just named are what? Raids that come in comments, which are the ones that come in major expansions, not the ones that come in between. You never got any major raid, with the exception of the Crota one, was the only one you got in between years. The Wrath of the Machine. Rise of Iron was a major expansion. Wrath of the Machine.
You're right. Because it was after. That was when Destiny 2. Yeah, you are correct. Because that's when Destiny 2 was supposed to launch. They delayed it and they made it. No, you are correct. I see where you're going with it. Okay.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. They even said it in one of their Vidocs. They rather give us more content over time than wait till the end of the year to give us this major content update. So that's what they're doing with this. I don't even think we're going to see Destiny 3 next year. I think with the way that the game is being built now, you're going to see another major comment. You're going to see something like the Taken Queen, like at the end of this year, going into next year. Then you'll see that major push towards Destiny 3 in 2020. And that's when you're going to see the game really take a turn.
Sure. But Forte, you nailed a couple of different points that people need to take note on. All right, first of all, you said your first character, you haven't even touched your second or third character yet. You're already 20 hours in. We just said that people are spending $60 and spending sometimes 20 hours total on a game. You are going to have multiple hours. So if there's people holding out on that fact, trust me, you'll get your money's worth if you're dedicated. Number two, you know, shout out to Lady Foxfire in the chat. She said something. She goes, you know, Destiny 2 has got to kind of, Forsaken's got to reel me back in, because with Destiny 1, I have 28 days played, and Destiny 2, I only have 3. Here's my thing, and this isn't to just Lady Foxfire. This is to a lot of people. You know, they say, I played the shit out of Destiny 1. I don't play Destiny 2. Well, you got to look at the time and the era, right? I mean, there were people playing hopscotch for fun after work when there was no TV, okay? So when Destiny 1 came out,
There was
nothing else out. We were tired of playing remasters. Remember, there was a whole, I'm not playing, one more remaster comes out and I'm out. I'm not gaming no more, right?
Facts.
So Destiny 1 came out, people were like, it's this or not. I mean, let's be honest. People were drooling over Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs. It wasn't that good, but it was the only game we had. So, like, realistically, Destiny 1 was they set the ground rules. They people loved it because they were kind of experimenting themselves at Bungie. They're like, we haven't done an MMO style game on console, you know. So yes, some of it, you know, it's funny because when you talk to Destiny 1 fans, they'll say we should go back to Destiny 1. But do you remember those fans? They were also complaining a lot.
Yes.
Right? They didn't really fix it till Taken King.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was like they need to fix it. So here's the thing. It's an ever-evolving wheel in motion. And you know what? Here's what I say to you guys who are on the fence. Come along for the ride. It's a good time. Trust me.
Yeah.
Whether there's a lot of ups and downs, but you're a part of the ride.
You know, and just like and Slow-Mo can pretty much answer this. I look at this game pretty much like how a lot of people looked at Warframe. It's the type of game that if you played it before you didn't like something and you got out of it, it's hard to come back to it. It's like, I know what the game is. I don't know if I want to come back and play it. But once you go back and play it, you realize what it is, and you're like, oh my God, I'm hooked again. And that's why a lot of people like Warframe the way it is now, because they went back to the game and experienced all the new stuff they added. If you come back to Destiny in the state that it is right now, you might cancel all the rest of your games that's coming out for the rest of this holiday.
I had that thought of maybe even pushing. I know it sounds crazy, pushing Red Dead Redemption 2, and that might have to do with the fact that I'm part of the 4K club now. But I mean, seriously, what I've played so far in the short time that I've had with Forsaken, everything you guys have mentioned, the musical score, the gunplay, the cinematics, what they did with Cade, the voice acting. Everything is just like this. To me, is better than there's more of a wow factor for me than when I first played the Taken King, which I think really set the bar or took Destiny to another level and fixed a lot of the things that was wrong with Destiny 1. But like I just, for me, it's just I'm one of those guys that's had this love-hate relationship with Destiny, where I'm like, it sucks. I never go back to it. And then, I start talking to Cognito, and I start talking to Mooch, and I start talking to other people who are playing it. And I'm like, I don't know. I might need to get back into it. And then, like you guys said, the community aspect of the game is just amazing.
Yes.
I mean, to go into the Destiny app and go into the Iron Lords clan and say, hey, I need to do this. And I'll put a message out, and I'll get like invites like within seconds to do something.
It's that community aspect, right? That's why we play it, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah, big draw to the game.
Hey, allow me to break up this Destiny circle.
That's the proper name for you, Lord Division.
I'm not going to bring up the Division. I'm sitting here and I'm just like, oh my God, they're going to keep talking about Destiny until midnight. Okay, look. Let me just say something real quick, because Forte mentioned Warframe, and I 100% agree. Like when Warframe first came out, in like depending on your platform, between 2012 and 2014, it's a completely different game than it is now. It looks different. The graphics have been upgraded. It plays differently. They got this whole parkouring thing. If you haven't played it yet, in years, you're probably wondering, like, why is everyone flying around like ninjas? Because that's how the gameplay is now. Now, the one big difference that I don't think Forte is mentioned, and I think actually Mooch should mention a little bit about price, is that Warframe's a free game. So to get back into it, all the content updates they do about 2 a year, with one big one in the fall. All that stuff you can just jump right back into it, and it costs you nothing. Whereas with Destiny, let's say, like for me, for instance, I bought the base game, $60. Didn't buy the season pass because I was a little iffy on some things. Then now I want to get back into it. I'm gonna see what's going on, but I gotta spend $60, $60+
Here we go.
to get back in it. Now, hey, Enrique. Well, and now Mooch mentioned, like, the cost may not really be that much, but I still think it's still a bit more than what the average game is. If you take some of these other games that are $60 and there's a season pass, that's like $90.
So, how many games do you buy in? How many games do you buy in a calendar year?
Oh, I don't. More than
you should be buying, right?
More than I should be buying.
All right, so you need to replace about 3 of those games with just Destiny, and you'll be 100% fine.
Yeah, but see, why I gotta limit my game?
Let's be 100. Let's be 100 on this.
That one game that I spent $20 on and it's sitting in my backlog since 2014. Why I gotta not buy that game?
Look, man. I get a bunch of stuff for free, and I got a backlog that's ridiculous. And I will be the first one to tell you that Destiny is a job.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah. If you like this game, it is a job. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that Spider-Man is literally coming out at the end of this week, and I really want to play that game because I want to get some use out of my PS4. Dude, if it wasn't for that game, I would be playing Destiny for the next 3 months.
Yeah, but that's why I was saying earlier about Anthem, why Anthem is going to have a really, really hard time actually carving out a space in this area of the gaming community.
Slow-mo, yes.
Because these games, the commitment just to make any kind of progress of what you're looking for in the Division, in Destiny, in Warframe, in any kind of looter game, Diablo, any of these games, you can't just, I'm just going to play it, on Monday, then I'll play it on Thursday. And no, you're getting nowhere. You have to play this about 3 hours per day. You have to make it a commitment. And when you do that, you just can't play other games. You just really can't play anything else. I know guys who, go ahead, Mooch.
No, I was going to say, Slow-mo, and it's something that I think, to be honest with you, I think we have to address that because that's a serious thing. And you're not wrong, but I found a happy medium. I really, really did. Like, there's no doubt that Cognito he is way more skilled in the game. He has got his characters up to top level or pretty damn close. He's got all the top gear. I don't have all that, but I kept myself relevant. So if he says we're going to go do this raid or we're going to go do this event, I make it so I play just enough so that I can always participate with the group. Now, there are times where I'll go hardcore. Like right now, I'm going to go hardcore. I'm going to go hard for the next 2-3 weeks, like ridiculous, because this is the game that I want to play. But then I'm going to let loose and I'm going to fall back when you've got Blackout comes out or you got Red Dead comes out. And, like even now, as much as I want to, I'm going to play 2-3 days straight of Spider-Man. That's just the way it's going to be. So then I'll come back to Destiny on Monday. What I guess I'm trying to say is it really comes down to time management, because what you said, Slow-mo, is 100% right. You're not going to be able to keep up with, and I'm just picking on you because I know you got it all. You know what I mean? You got it going. So like, I know that like, I'm not like when I play, first thing I said to Cognito, I said same thing to King. I said, take a look at my dude. See what do you think I can do? What I can't do? What can I? He's like, you're good enough. We can do this. Let's go. So I think that's it's an intimidation factor, Slow-mo, and that's what we got to get a lot of the new cats kind of like get them away from thinking that you don't have to play 3 hours. Let me tell you this much. You don't need to play 3 hours a day, but you certainly better play 3 to 5 hours a week.
Yes.
Because that's the difference.
Yeah.
If you play 3 to 5 hours a week, let me tell you, you can keep up with the Joneses.
Absolutely.
You can do it.
Yeah. And
that's a good point.
And that's what I was listening to Xbox Nation earlier today when Kraft was talking about that he doesn't have the time to really put into it.
Right.
And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yeah, but I was like, yeah, are you going to keep up with people like me, Mooch, Cognito? No, because we put too much time into the game, more than we should put into a video game. But guess what? When I play that game, I'm literally going to play through this game with multiple different people that are way lower level than me. I'm going to be playing it with them just because the game scales to your level. So when I go down and play with somebody that's light level 450, it's still going to be very challenging for me, just like it is for them. Yes. So I'm still getting the benefits of playing that game, even playing on a lower level with other people. So it makes it easy for you to do it.
And Forte, what they did by fixing that, okay, is now they've got the rolls, the godly rolls are back. So now you might play something where you got the gun already,
right?
But you didn't get the perk on the gun, and now you did by helping your buddy out.
Facts.
That's what keeps the game alive.
Yeah, absolutely. It incentivizes the higher level players to play with the lower players. And like I said, with the clan stuff and things like that, where they want you to play together, they want you to be as a team, and you get rewards. So it's not that classism where it's like, oh, well, you haven't done this, so why should I play with you? You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing.
Like if you didn't have the Gallahorn on Destiny 1.
Facts. Yeah.
He wouldn't play with you. I remember that.
Yeah, that was true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's a great
problem. To switch over, and Enrique, I apologize, but to get Slow-Mo, because Slow-Mo's a big fan of the Division. My biggest problem with the Division was I was Slow-Mo in the conversation with Division. I said, hey, I don't have 3-4 hours a night right now to keep up with everybody. So then here's what happened, right? So I fell 2 weeks behind. Everybody was already level 30 and doing all their thing, right? And you know what? That game was made incorrectly. They scaled the enemies to fight the top level person in your crew, not the lowest common denominator, right? So here's what happened, right? So I get in there and I'm with my boys and we're going through, and they're like, I'm like, dude, I might as well just throw like marbles or spin at this dude. Right? So everybody turns around to me like, Mooch, don't worry about it. Just hide behind that car over there. Hide behind that 15 minutes. And I'm like,
they had you in the corner, Mooch. They had you in the back.
And I'm like, yo, wait. I'm like, when can I play? Stay back there. You're leveling up. You don't even realize it, but you're leveling up right now. And I'm like, I ain't doing shit. You know what I mean? So like that was, and that's where Destiny or the Division, they lost me on that. And that's why I said Destiny does it so that if you're way more advanced, you have no problem helping people at a lower tier. And if you're at a lower tier, you don't mind asking somebody who's been putting the grind in because they still have something to benefit. It makes this community kind of mesh. And I think Division might have fixed that error. I don't know if they did so or not.
But they did, yeah. It was that was, you probably jumped in around when it was like update 1.3. It was probably, that's like 4 or 5 months after release, and everyone was,
right.
A lot of people were like, you were just like, I can't deal with it. I get grazed by a bullet and I'm down.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the enemy I'm shooting is a dude with a hoodie, and he's like a ball.
Yeah, man.
It got real crazy. Wild, and that's something they fixed in like 1.4. So they fixed that pretty soon when they saw like the community drop drastically, and a lot of people felt like you did. They did fix that pretty quickly, but it makes complete sense. There's a lot of people who still kind of view the Division that way. It's just like, no, I'm gonna play that, man. That dude got a bulletproof fitted hat or something. I shoot him in the head, and he don't even go down even a little bit. Now it's changed a little bit, but I understand.
Right.
Yeah, they made tremendous strides.
At least the one thing I will say is we don't have reskins. No one can say the word reskin with this version of Destiny because everything is new. Everything is new.
Yeah, I mean, even the enemies. I mean, the
Scorn. Forgot about
Scorn.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Scorn. I mean, when I saw that, when you first see the Scorn, I'm like, whoa, what is? I was like, whoa, what is this?
The behaviors are different.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's some parts, man, that really get tough, and you've got to change your thinking because they're not just sitting there getting bullet sponged. None of that going down no more. Yeah,
no, they're not.
So when you played it, Cognito, you said you beat the single player already. How did you like the progression of the single player in this versus the
man? It was done well. It was really done well because to be honest, as a hardcore Destiny guy, the campaigns tend to be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep not this. Like we had no business fighting one of the barons because you start off, with your hunt, and it was just like, what are we doing? But it's just like the competitive ego of the group we had. I think it was me, Attic, and Dizzy, and we were just like, nah, man, I'm not gonna go back to power level. We gonna beat this, but we gonna figure this out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had the Warlock, and what's real cool about the Warlock this year is he has a class which is very support driven. You kind of put this well up, you give everybody healing buffs as well as empowering buffs to shoot the boss. So whenever they would go down, I'm like, jump in the bubble. All right, I get the res. You get the res. So we were just working out, and then I was letting those guys be the offensive guys. And these new subclasses, y'all, they're really good. Like I think Dizzy had another warlock, and he was running the lightning, and it was like some Dragon Ball Z Kami High Wave.
So good.
And I was like, man. And then Attic had some like torpedo Titan coming in. Like I was like, what is going on?
What?
Yeah, like the Titan can do some torpedo missile move as a super and launch across the map. And I'm just like, what is going on? So, and again, we haven't even unlocked the other subclasses. So they're doing things in a way which is, again, you've got a level. They let you know, hey, this is the power level you need to be to attempt to beat said Baron, said boss. And we were way under level. And I was grinding a bit. So that just let me know, okay, they're not wanting you to just fly through the campaign. Like, you're going to have to put a little bit of commitment. And I actually like that aspect of it. So in that aspect, the progression, I think it's in a good place. The leveling is in a good place. They're not giving you all of the 9 new subclasses off the rip. Mm-hmm. You gotta get that stuff and unlock that stuff out. The raid also, I felt a good decision for them pushing it back a week, because the problem, and Mooch knows, sometimes when a new Destiny launch, they'll launch it on Tuesday, raid Friday. Now you're really no life in just to get to
get raid ready.
Yes.
And I know some of the people in the chat are saying, I can't believe you guys are talking about Destiny this long, but the one thing that needs to be discussed too in what Cognito's saying is the thing that irked me the most about every expansion was that it comes out on Tuesday and the hardcore were done with it by like Tuesday, 2 hours later. And I was like, come on, man, I didn't even get home yet. So like the problem, right? I'm like, man. Right. But in all honesty, what they did nice here, and you guys, and tell me if I'm wrong too, because hopefully I'm playing. I only got a couple. I think we did 2, 3 of the main mission. You have to grind. You've got to, right, when you're going to get, you have to go and do the bounties, and then bring them back to get the rest of the mission. Look, that's what slows it down. But that's what makes that grind a little bit more worth it. That's where we have this story where you explore the new map. Like, I don't know, man. I'm very early on. Even listen, I gotta get up early and go to work again tomorrow, but I don't care. After the podcast, I'm still probably gonna play. But like, that's the thing. Like, I don't mind to go back, and I will go and do a few of those bounties just to keep the mission going, so I can start up again tomorrow fresh. I mean, that's the whole thing about this, and that's what I like. And I know Enrique's probably jonesing to get on to another subject, but like literally,
I'm jonesing on Destiny too.
right. That's what I'm saying. But like, that's a key thing that I thought that they added that I really dig. I think that's something that it keeps the single player, not single player, pardon me, the story mission alive a lot longer.
Absolutely. Yeah. The last thing I'll say about it is this game allows you to play it the way you want to play it.
Yes.
This is by far the most they've done to make synergetic items and gear across all of your characters. Every exotic that I have in the game so far literally synergizes with something else that your character has very well. Like the Titan
doing the mid-maxing with the armor. And now, like, they're getting little elements where I'm like, okay, now you have to think about the perks that the armor have as well as the exotics. Continue.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you're good. And but that's just the biggest thing. So if you're the type of person that just doesn't like just shooting aliens, then you don't have to just do that. You can literally build your character top from head to toe how you want to play with that character. And then not only do you only have 3 subclasses, you're going to have an additional 3 on top of that you're going to gain over the course of the next 3 weeks. And I just love how they're just implementing this over time. It's great, and it gives people options, and that's what I like most about it.
Yep. And gamers, we love our options.
Microsoft proved that to us. We love options.
Yeah, we love options. So no, that's guys, that's a great conversation of Destiny 2. It's crazy. I think we go in about an hour talking about Destiny 2.
Well, I mean, the other game
easy to another hour.
Well, the other game doesn't come out till next week. So,
Jesus, wow. So, real quick, guys.
Tomorrow.
What's that?
No, I said no. I take that back. It comes out tomorrow night.
Are you talking about Spider-Man?
Yeah, that comes out tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. But so Slow-Mo, I expect to see you on Destiny 2, man, this week, hopefully.
Yep.
I'll save a character for you.
Hey, look,
no pressure, man.
I will purchase Forsaken tonight. And I take it, Forte would be sending me that.
I'm about to send it to you now, bro. I'm gonna take you at your word. I'm gonna do it as we're in this podcast.
Look at Destiny bringing people together.
Yes, Destiny bringing people together.
The Lord's work.
One podcast at a time. All right, gentlemen. So, real quick, next topic: Sony. Sony's back in the news regarding cross-platform play. Sony CEO, I can't pronounce his name. Kenichiro Yoshida.
Yep.
I don't know if they asked him about crossplay, but he's basically flaunted what he called the best experience offered by the PlayStation 4 to gamers as the main reason for lack of support for cross-platform play on the PlayStation platform. And lo and behold, Mikey Barr fired back saying that Sony still isn't listening to gamers. All games should be cross-play progression with the right input flexibility and gamer options. And this has been a conversation I think it's been going on. I've seen it quite a bit on Twitter, and I've seen it on some gaming forums where, Sony's been very against cross-platform play. Microsoft and Nintendo have actually partnered up to do some cross-platform. Sony's done it in the past. I think they're currently doing it with some PC games, if I'm not mistaken. Some multi-plat games that are on PC as well. But Fortnite's a big thing, and I think a lot of the heat that Sony's caught with Fortnite too has to do with the fact that people, without knowing, when they've logged on to their use their Fortnite account on PlayStation 4, PlayStation, or Sony's locking their accounts to the PS4 platform. So without them knowing, which I think is just terrible. I don't think it's good business. But do you guys think Sony's being anti-consumer with not allowing crossplay and with them locking users' gaming profiles, a game like Fortnite, when they log into the PlayStation 4?
So I'll put it like this. I'll go first. I think they're partly wrong for the one part you said and then all the way wrong for the other, which being the locking of your account. I think cross progression should not be tied to a system. It should be, especially if you're not the one that's maintaining the host of the game, because all of this is running on Epic servers, and all of your character upkeep is held on their server. So all they got to do is just turn on a button, and then everybody can use their stuff wherever they want to. The fact that Sony didn't let that go through is the biggest problem. I think is the biggest problem that this whole situation is. I don't hold them at fault for crossplay though, because they are the market leader. They have the right to protect their platform if they want to, even though I wish they did do it. But my whole thing and the problem I have with Sony on this is just come out and say just come out and say we don't want to do it because we don't want to give the other console access to our games. Just say we don't want to do it for that reason instead of saying, oh, we're trying to protect our players. We're the best place to play. Well, no, you're not the best place to play, because the best place to play is where I can play with 75% of the community that's not just on PlayStation. So this is going to be something that's not going to bite them in the butt this generation, because they're by far way ahead and nothing's going to change that for this generation. But just like what happened in 2013, the more this conversation keeps going on, and that's why you hear Mikey Barr coming out saying they're still being anti-consumer. They're planting that seed. So when the next system come out and Microsoft comes out and say, hey, we're going to be cross-platform play with all the systems that want to be cross-platform with us, people are going to remember that, and then they're going to probably pick another system over the system they had before, because this is going to be something really big that's going to really push the generation forward when the next systems start coming out.
I mean, this is why I think that when Sony announces the PS5, they're also going to announce that they're open to at least cross progression at that point. They right now they don't see any need to do so, because they know that they have leverage over all the publishers and devs out there. So for example, with Bethesda, Bethesda tried to, they tried to try them a little bit. They said, hey, this unknown card game of Elder Scrolls.
This free-to-play card game.
Who knew about this game? No one knew about this game until this all came out. But of course they didn't do that with Fallout 76.
Exactly.
Because they want that money. They're not going to forego the biggest platform that's out there. So Sony knows that. And but they also know that next gen they are not guaranteed to have the same influence. And so therefore they're like, we don't need to do anything right now. And we don't feel like we're going to lose too much of the player, the community. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but just I guess their overall opinion from the community won't be too bad by 2020 or 2019 when they come out with their new system and they say, okay, yeah, we're doing this with everybody now. All is forgiven. That's how I think they view it. But now, is it anti-consumer? A little bit, yeah. But not. I don't think crossplay is too much anti-consumer. I do think the cross progression, especially how they're treating people's Epic accounts, a third-party account, just because it was started on a PlayStation, they can't play.
And they're not even letting people know that they're locking their accounts. That's the part that's kind
ridiculous. That's really messed up. That's ridiculous. But I think they're gonna switch gears when they have to, and not because of any pressure that the community or the gaming media is putting on them.
The pressure is going to come from the game developers, and until that pressure happens, Sony isn't going to change their stance. You know what I mean? They could easily be moved if Rockstar came out and said Red Dead Online is only going to be crossplay on Xbox and PC. GTA Online is only going to be crossplay on Xbox and PC. But until that happens, why do I need to change my stance?
Exactly.
Like I still have the biggest player base on consoles. You know what I mean? I don't need to change my stance. I have 80 million people who are playing on my platform. I don't need to open up my gates to other platforms to allow crossplay. Why would I do that? At the end of the day, like, people want to play with their friends. So if you see a PlayStation 4 on sale for $200 during the holiday season, you're more than likely to pick one up and then join your friends that way than just staying on whatever platform you choose and play crossplay. So at the end of the day, I mean, they're making a business decision. Yes, it is anti-consumer at a certain extent, but at the end of the day, this is a business. You know what I mean? So they're trying to protect their investment and protect their stockholders at the end of the day. But the pressure will come from the game developers. Until that happens, nothing's going to change.
The biggest thing I don't understand I said the biggest thing I don't understand is why they realize that if they did open this up, that would be more sales for that platform. Because most people would double dip. Like, I have Destiny on multiple systems. If I could literally take my character and not have to worry about re-leveling, I would own Destiny everywhere. I mean, I own Destiny everywhere now, but it's just the fact that it would be an easier sell for a lot more people to do that. And that's more money in revenue going into Sony's pocket because they're the platform holder that game is on, and they get to realize that that's where they're gonna get more money from.
And that's the argument for cross progression, not necessarily cross play. Because if it's cross play, then I could just be on my Xbox, play with my friend who only has a PlayStation. I don't have to go buy that PlayStation version of, say, example, Destiny. Whereas if it's cross progression, I mean, part of the reason why I didn't pick up Destiny until like last week is because one, it was free, so I got it with PS Plus. But man, I'm not really trying to go do all that grind characters all over again.
And that's a lot of us. That's a lot of us.
Yeah, some people don't have a problem with it, but I think if you could take all the progress you already did on one platform and do it on another, they would see way more sales on multiple platforms for these kind of games.
Yeah, let me jump in right quick because I'm sorry, just real quick.
No, go ahead. No.
And you guys nailed it because like that's to me the future is cross progression. I'm not hating on
that's what I was gonna say, Kyle.
Yeah, you know me and you always on the same page. Yeah, because like the whole thing is the cross play is fine, no disrespect, but cross progression is where it's at. Because when I'm listening to B talk and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got NBA 2K on the Switch, right? I would love for the ability to take that on and go come home and then continue that on either Xbox or PlayStation with the same level of progression. And I know shout out to Predator in chat, more Destiny talk. And I'm thinking with Destiny, it's the same thing. I know the frustration, like salute, God bless Jay Fonzarelli. I don't know how this man does it. He's got 3 on PlayStation, 3 characters on PlayStation, 3 Destiny characters on Xbox. I can't do that. Like there's no way I can do that. So I can imagine, and again, shout out my boy Bontis on PC. If that progression carried over, that's the future of gaming. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be the thing that I don't think is gonna go away for Sony in this situation. Especially like we were just saying, if Bungie decides, this is kind of what we want to like push forward, like what B was just saying, like especially in a world where more people are owning like multiple consoles. It's just gonna be that thing where it's like the cross progression part of it is that's where people are gonna want to live, and I think you're gonna see more pushback from that type of thing because, like we said, you're gonna get more sales from that.
Right. Yeah, and I think again, B is on it right now. Sony's in a dominant position. There is no incentive for them to do that. This is business, right? I get it. All I'm saying, I mean, in agreement with B is that once you get the rock stars, right? Once you get the 2Ks, you know what I mean? And all the big guys now come next gen doing this on a united front, there becomes pressure. And what happens is you got Fortnite is kind of like the spearheaded right now. This is the biggest phenomenon, Fortnite, right? So they've got a leg to stand on, but they're kind of out there on their own a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If more of the bigger publishers and stuff like that get on board with this, make no mistake, next gen, we will see some changes to that stance.
They're going to get pushed back. I think they're definitely going to get pushed back from it because it's going to be like, again, sales matter.
Right.
Starting next generation, gaming is going to change, guys. A lot of the stuff that we talk about on the shows that we all do and everything going back, everything is going to feel really archaic, because the point of the matter is that Sony's going to they do have to change. And here's the same thing. If I said to you guys, I'm going to give you this ticket right here, these 3 clubs over here, you can go out, you can do whatever you want. If you buy this ticket, you can only go to that one big club that's over there, right? Eventually, people are going to go, I like what they got, but I like the 3 DJs over here. I'm going to check these out, right? So realistically, like these young cats, like my kids, for example, right? The first thing he says to all his friends, when they're, of course, I prefer Xbox, not hiding that, put that out there, right? But the fact of the matter is, though, when his friends are like, oh, where should I get Fortnite? All the kids at these birthday parties, they're like Xbox. Why? And they're like, well, one guy's like, why? And he's like, because you play it on Switch, PC, Xbox. So whatever you got, we could probably link up. And they're like, all right. So what I'm saying is, not only is it the developers that are going to kind of point Sony in that direction, but it really will be the consumers. And it's not going to be the Mike Ibarras. It's going to be the consumers. And I don't mean us. Here's the thing, new shock to everybody out there. Not us. Not us that have been playing for 20 years. Not us that have been playing for 30 years. Not us. It's going to be the younger generation because when they grow up, they won't know any different. Right. They know that when they put their iPad down, they can pick up their Xbox controller. When they put their Xbox controller down, they can pick up their Switch. And when we say you can't use any of those, they're going to sneak onto that laptop and pretend they're doing math and play Fortnite. So they don't know any different. We are the ones that know that you have to get up and go from one couch to where you got the other console. They don't have to do that anymore. So for us, it's a change of thought. For them, it's just Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a great point. Yeah.
And that's one of the things to look forward to. The other thing I kind of want to bring awareness to, and I know me and Enrique have great conversations on this, but and I'm not Enrique, just for the respect of Brap, I am not going to say media bias. Okay, I am not.
You can say media bias. It's fine.
I will not. I do want to just bring some awareness. If we could just flip the coin real quick, I want to put everybody in a bizarro world real quick. Now, Microsoft is currently the install base leader, and Microsoft said no, we are not doing this. And Sony was like, I don't understand why. Us, Nintendo, the entire PC world is together. People would be saying Microsoft is being anti-consumer, and they would be going at them with every pitchfork and knife they could possibly find in the drawer. Hear me out. Right now, if you go leave after the show, you go check out, you're going to go, well, Mooch, no, there's a lot of articles out there. There's a lot of them. There are. But I implore you to read them or listen to them if they're podcasts, and listen to the shows on IGN. And at the end, they say, well, technically, we can't really blame Sony because they are in the lead. Anyways, back to you, Jim, with some other subject. Like, there is no back to you, Jim, when Microsoft's doing something wrong. It's burn that. It's like you get torched when you're Microsoft. They get like flame. So my whole thing is this. I get it, and I'm with you. I actually said ages ago, before people were even talking about it, I said Sony's doing the right business move right now. But all I'm saying is I'm not disagreeing necessarily with Sony, but I'm just it's for me, I got to sit back and kind of chuckle these days. You know what I mean? I can't get angry about it. You just got to chuckle. You got to say, if the shoe was on the other foot, Microsoft would be getting killed by the Greg Millers and the IGNs and the Kotakos. They would be, I mean, Jason, what's his name there? Jason from Schreier from Kotaku, he would have wrote another book on this. You know what I mean? He would have been. So I'm just saying, like, the nth degree. So I just want to bring awareness, because everybody ends it with, well, Sony's the market leader, so who cares if they lock my account out? It doesn't matter. Right. Like, everybody like laughs it off and they're like, on to the next one. And I'm like, if it was ever reversed, ever, there's no way it would be a chuckle and on to the next story. I know you guys have to see it.
No, I'll say this. I'll say this. I do think though that it's starting to that conversation is starting to happen more, because I think the optics of this doesn't look good, especially when your mantra is for the gamers or whatever.
I definitely think it's starting to catch hold. It is. More people like, hold up, wait a minute, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it really is, especially with the locking of the accounts. I mean, that's terrible. And look, and I've seen more articles about Sony's, excuses of why they're not doing cross-platform. Like, I think someone on the panel said they'd be better off just coming out and saying, hey, you know what? We're the market leader, and that's why we're not doing it.
Right.
As opposed to giving us these lame reasons as to why they're not doing it. But that conversation is starting to happen more. And I do think this. I think that if they don't change this perception or this, or this, or become open to the idea, that could be something that bites in the ass.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. They can literally change it right now if they unlock those accounts on Fortnite.
But like I said, man, it's only going to change when developers want to make a change.
That's the start of it, Eric. Yes, that is the start.
Yeah, it's only nip them in the ass right now, because like Fortnite is the biggest game, and we know there's going to be other cross-platform games between Switch and Xbox. Minecraft is super big and stuff like that. But you need a big hardcore game. Like Fortnite is great. It's a great casual game. Like a lot of people are playing it. You know what I mean? It's caught ahead of Steam and it's super popular. But let's be honest. Most of the people playing it are kids. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the buying power to go out there and buy a different console. You know what I mean? They're playing on whatever console that their parents bought them, and they're gonna rock out with Fortnite for as long as they can.
Right? No, what you need, like you say, you need that Fallout 76.
Right.
Because right now Bethesda throwing paper airplanes at Sony's head. Like, exactly.
Like Cognito said. You know what I mean? Like 2K is coming out this weekend, right? Like you guys know, I'm super big into 2K. I buy it on every platform. You know what I mean? Like, I go super hard for it. You know what I mean? If 2K would just come out and say all your progression is
Xbox and
PC, Switch. Like, I'd be like, yo, that's where I'm playing the game at. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna spend all my money there. Like, we all know how crazy 2K has gotten with the microtransactions and what it takes to level up your player and stuff like that. Like, I'm doing that on 3 platforms as it is. You know what I mean? Like, if I could carry all of that to, and just spend that money on one player and carry it across multiple platforms, why wouldn't I do that? But until 2K comes out and says something like that, no pressure on Sony. They don't have to do anything. Fortnite is going to be an anomaly. You know what I mean? Like, until someone else makes a big deal about it. Fortnite is going to come and go. There's going to be some other big game that comes along, and Fortnite would be, just some game that was hot for a minute. Next generation, there's going to be something else.
Going back to it, but B, your point with the kids playing mainly Fortnite, here's the thing. Anybody who's a parent who's listening to this knows what I'm talking about. The minute we get anywhere near Christmas, okay, it could be the worst piece of shit plastic toy. The minute that's the hypest thing, you got your kid poking you in the arm being like, I want that. I got to have that. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is right now you've got all these kids playing Fortnite. Let's give Sony the credit of that. Let's give them the credit, right? Let's say 50% are playing on PlayStation 4. Everything you said, whatever your parents give you is what you play. That's a true story. That is true. However, the other 50% of those kids are of the notion that they're playing with a PC, a Switch, or another Xbox player. Those are the people that are going to... Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. How many of those kids actually know that?
More than you think.
I don't think so.
Dude, my son's 9 years old, and he says to me every single day, because his best friend's got a PlayStation, he's like, why is it I can play with all my friends on Switch and all my friends on PC, but I can't play with my friend Evan? And because he has a PlayStation. They know. Trust me. You have kids, B?
I do. I got 4 of them. We talked about this.
Ask them. Ask them if they know. They know.
No, they don't, because both my sons both have their own Xbox and their own PS4, and they play Fortnite on PS4. They literally don't even touch their Xbox. I've talked about this on the show multiple times. Like, they literally don't touch their Xbox. I'll play Destiny on Xbox. I play a lot of my multiplayer games on Xbox. They literally refuse to play Xbox. It's collecting. Well,
but B, you're proving my point. Your kids are in the 50% ecosystem that's not talking to the others. My kids are playing on Xbox, and they're playing with a friend on Switch, a friend on mobile. And what I'm saying to you is they know. So what I'm saying to you is I'll give you the benefit of the doubt to say that the majority are on PlayStation. Those folks don't care, right? But you know why they don't care? They don't have no options.
Yeah. No, it's a similar. This is a great point between and Mooch, because it also reminds me to bring Destiny back in.
Oh, get the monitor in here.
It reminds me of the exclusive content thing, right? Because as Sony is the majority leader, all the Sony guys, it didn't phase them as much. But if you're on Xbox, it was kind of purgatory that you'd see these exotics and you're like, damn, I won't be able to get that for another year. Right. You know what I mean? So I understand what you say. It's like once you're in that ecosystem, sometimes you may have the mindset of the leading ecosystem.
You ask somebody on PlayStation, okay. They're like, no, I'm fine. Why? What's up? And they don't, right? They are fine. But the thing is, though, once you take someone from the other ecosystem, like now take anybody's kid who says, oh, he's all Xbox. Take the Xbox away, give him PlayStation playing Fortnite. He's gonna have fun. Then he's gonna go, hey, can Jimmy play? I'll be like, what does Jimmy have? Well, he plays on his iPad. No. Why not? I was playing with him last week on the Xbox. You see, that's what I'm saying. So what's going to happen is, in these kids, they are the future consumer. So they are seeing what's going on. They know what's. So when everyone's in the chat right now, they're like, I don't care about crossplay. Neither do I. Right. I don't care.
Me neither.
You know what crossplay was before? Punching your friend in the arm on a couch. That was crossplay. Right? So that's how I grew up playing crossplay. So my whole thing is like, that doesn't affect anybody on this panel. And I'm down with that. It doesn't affect my life. But what I'm saying is these kids are the new consumers. And the fact that 50% of them, at the minimum, it's much higher than that in my opinion, but 50% of them are like kind of like this is installed in their mind now that they can play outside of their ecosystem. That's a hard thing to contain and say, no, you got to go back to just playing on this box. People don't like that. We are in the generation of options. It's a joke I always say. There's people driving with the windows down and the air conditioning on. That's what we're doing. And if you grew up when I grew up, I'm going to use slow. You get slow mode back right across your face if you were doing that. Right? So the whole thing about these kids are in a different world. And they're seeing this, and it's going to be real hard to talk them down from that. And that's the thing. That's where Sony, I think whoever said it on the panel was dead balls accurate. This generation, no, they don't have to, but they sure as shit have to do it in 2020. Because if they don't, that's when I don't even think the media can hide them on that case. I think at that point, then they're going to be called on it. Hardcore. Not like now where they're like, well, Sony is the market leader. And now back to you, Jim, with the Geralt update. I'm playing him in the theater.
You got to stop the back.
I just want them to stop using the excuse that Microsoft turned this down in the 8th generation. Times were so different back then. Internet and the way that these games are being consumed was different then. That doesn't make it right that Microsoft turned it down back then. True. But that doesn't mean that it should be turned down now. It's more prevalent in all the games we play now with all the online connectivity with these games. The one thing Microsoft's kind of saw this future back in 2013 when they had the plans for the system that just didn't pan out. And they took an L for it because the world wasn't ready for what they wanted. Now the world is literally ready for this type of stuff, and this is what we're going to be dealing with for the next generation going forward.
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
And Slobo, you are now the proud owner of an expansion. Make sure you
let's go.
All right.
Check your email. It has been gifted to you, sir.
Woo! Damn.
Who did that? All right. Appreciate that, Forte. I will be as soon as I get done with this, I'll jump on and I will start playing that shall not be named, because I know there's some in the chat that don't want to hear the name no more.
I'll get doing the Lord's work. Let's go.
No, that's awesome. No, Forte, that's a great point. I mean, last console gen, I've heard people bring that up too. Microsoft turned it down, but it wasn't something that I think a lot of people wanted. Technology wasn't maybe necessarily there. Also, different leadership group under Microsoft at the time.
Yeah,
I think definitely. I mean, that's the age of Don Matrick.
The Don. Oh Lord.
Donnie D.
Yeah, Donnie D. So different time in the Xbox.
Which, Mooch, do you really want Donnie D to come back, or were you?
No, never. They made a slogan. They're like, a vote for Donnie D is. I don't know what they were.
I remember that. I was like, I know he don't really want Donnie.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I will say this much. What I did say that probably was misconstrued was I did like some of the hardcore deals, which now Sony's doing.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did like some of the deals that they cut when they did the Call of Duty deal. They locked down the Madden deal, which they kept. But they got rid of the FIFA deal. They got rid of a lot of good deals. Now you see Microsoft now finally understands that third-party marketing rights is not nonsense. That's a big part of advertising your brand and getting it out there affiliated with other big names. And right, so they did a hell of a job. This says you got Red Dead Redemption 2 with Sony, which is by far. That's the king of this fall, no doubt about it. But to have Shadow and then to have NBA 2K back, I mean, they went and did what they got. They got Madden. You can't understand that. People can say whatever they want and leave all the nonsense out of it. I'm going to speak for myself. 8:30 tomorrow night. I'm eating some chicken wings, drinking beer. I'm watching the NFL opening game. Okay? That's what I'm doing. And we are doing this every Sunday. Okay. And what do you have? You've got Microsoft Surface tablets during the game, and you got Xbox commercials during the game. And this is America's watching. So you need to do this kind of advertising. And I think that Microsoft lost its footing. They're back again. They got some good deals going right now. Sony's not going to let go of what they got either. And that's what you see. Now you're going to get some healthy competition, and it all benefits us. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's so true. Because when you see a commercial, for like Call of Duty, and at the end of it, all you see is PlayStation,
blue,
PlayStation
for the casual. The casual gamer who isn't like us and doesn't know that hey, it's not exclusive to PlayStation, but for the casual gamer, it goes, I want that new Call of Duty. Oh, I guess I better go get a PlayStation.
And a lot of people say that, Shlomo. A lot of people.
Yeah. It's very commonplace.
Marketing is really, really important. Like Sony has been just kicking Microsoft's ass in marketing all generation long. So much so, I think some, to borrow a phrase from King David, some people in the Microsoft marketing department need to go in the bushes.
Thank you.
The bushes, like throw them out like a first-story window. We don't want to hurt. Hey, you gotta get the hell out of here. You gotta get the hell out of here. You ain't doing the job no more. I mean, like seriously, like I don't see Xbox commercials. I live in America, and I don't see this the only American video game console platform.
They had somebody out there. I don't know if it was Aaron. I don't want to say it was Aaron Greenberg, but I'm pretty sure it was something. They said they did a study, and they said not as many people are watching TV. I said, where was that poll taken in Hawaii? Because over here in New York, it's freezing 9 months of the year. I watch TV all the time. All of us do. People that literally, when you are from Chicago going east, it's cold as shit. And we watch TV all year long. And I don't understand that comment. And I agree with you. I don't think they do nearly enough television. I see a lot of Sony on television. And trust me, it works.
Yes.
On YouTube, man.
Why is Pepsi and Coca-Cola still paying $45 million for a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl? Because it doesn't work? Stop it.
No, I agree.
But no, like Forte just said, they're in YouTube. You see Sony and Hulu. When they got the basketball stadium,
they gotta have
put it on the floor.
You see the basketball game on the floor. They showed God of War.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think in the train station, New York, Spider-Man is
a Spider-Man train.
It's ridiculous.
It's amazing. It had like advertisements for the Daily Bugle inside of the train. I mean, That
That's how
costs
you
a
do it
lot
right.
of money.
That's how you do it.
You
You
know
get the
what?
mind share. The casuals don't know that.
Exactly.
Right.
They're going to associate that advertisement with the platform. That the hardcore gamer forgets we are the minority. You know what I'm saying? The casual gamer, that's what's going to drive the sales. And when they see these commercials and they see that kind of marketing blitz, they associate. Oh, like some people tell me, like, I mean, again, Disney. Like I didn't know it was on. I didn't know it was on Xbox when D1 came out. Like, yeah, it's multi-platform.
Actually, I didn't talk to people who didn't know that either.
There's no casual. I shouldn't say no. That's not proper to say. But there's very few casual people that even know what Game Pass is.
Yeah,
I was
Like,
just about to say.
There's no Game Pass. Why would you not advertise Game Pass everywhere on televition? I mean, maybe they're gonna. Maybe we get done with this show. All of a sudden, we turn our TVs on. Bang! It's on the whole thing. Maybe it is.
Because they listen to us. They listen to us.
And I know we're talking about like Sony and Microsoft, but I want to go back to like Nintendo. Nintendo was advertising Switch like 10:30 on HGTV.
Yeah, they were killing it.
HGTV.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Because that's a big part of Switch's success. Because I remember when we first saw that the Switch launch commercial, and I'm just like, wow, Nintendo's really doing a good job of conveying the message of this platform. And I'm like, when they showed the guy go to the airport, I said, yep, that's me. That's that. I'm that gamer that's taking it out and going and traveling with it. Now, I wasn't. Now, Mooch, man, you know, we wanted to do was on the basketball court. We wanted to do was on the roof and the Switch commercial. You know what I'm saying? But we did feel that they had a great marketing plan. They had a great messaging. You saw the commercials consistently, and I think that's the difference. It's almost like a newer Nintendo in that respect. These deals are huge, man. It definitely makes a difference.
Facts.
Hey, you know, I just wanted to piggyback off of something Mooch said about Game Pass and casuals. Casuals don't know about it, which is ridiculous considering if you look at all the games in Game Pass, most of us hardcore gamers, you go down the list, you're like, I got that, I played that, I beat that, I got that.
Mm-hmm.
You going down, it's like, there's some good games here, but I already own them. Whereas casuals will be like, oh wow, what's this? What's that? Like I have one of my friends, one of my best friends. This guy, he's a super casual gamer. And when I told him about Game Pass, he almost flipped out. He was like, really?
Yeah.
Just $10? Okay.
Right.
And today I saw him on Xbox playing Hitman, and I know he got through Game Pass. It's just it boggles the mind how am I doing better marketing of your product than you are? Like where is your marketing department should understand who your product works for, and therefore, and then look at ways to get that message out to that audience.
And I would somehow be trying to figure out how to put that next to the sugary cereal in like the grocery store or something. I'm serious. That's like Saturday morning cartoon type of like excitement.
Yeah.
You imagine when we were kids, if we had the ability to have like all these games in one place for $10? Come on.
Shoot, I remember when Microsoft used to, during the NCAA tournament, they used to have the Xbox logo on the bottom right hand of the corner of the court back then. I was like, dude, that was marketing.
Yeah, but this gen, man, Microsoft only advertises to the consumers that own their platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to answer Keith comment in the chat because he's saying it's pretty much throwing in your face, but that's because we live on Twitter. Outside of that, I don't see it as much. I have to agree with you, B. Like I don't see it like how prominently I see some of this.
Nope.
I mean, I haven't seen anything with Xbox All Access, and that was officially announced.
These are fantastic features. Look at all these features that need attention. Like you know, Mooch and Brad were saying, like they really got to do a better job of that because we as the hardcore shouldn't have to always disseminate that information. Like that, we just a small percentage. So they've got to somehow figure that issue out.
Yeah. I think the only Game Pass ad I saw was with like Danny McBride on MTV or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, who are they talking to?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I would have that like all over like Disney XD, Nick Jr. just just beat people over the head with that message.
Playboy Channel.
Hey, Enrique, wherever you think people aren't gonna look.
But I mean, I'll go a step further. I'll go a step further. Have it on with like The Walking Dead. You know, like the show the parents are watching. Because
they used to do it right. I thought they did 1 year with State of Decay or something. Maybe 1 year. I remember seeing something associated. Maybe 1 year. But I agree. Slow. Continue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have it on the X Factor, one of those popular shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have it somewhere where their parents will see it and they go, oh, well, little Timmy wants me to buy him 2 or 3 games for Christmas this year. How about I just get him Game Pass, and that's just $10, and I'm saving a little bit of money, and he can just play whatever that's on there.
Man, I would have bought ad space during Aretha Franklin's funeral. That was like
wow.
That's
really the funeral, man.
Hey, man, that had 7 hours, a 7-hour funeral, man. That's 7 hours of advertising.
This funeral's been brought to you by Xbox Game Pass. Jesus, man. All right. So this week kicks off a big week in gaming, actually, guys. And are we past Puddlegate now? Are we done talking about that?
It's over with.
Yeah. Now that Spider-Man and actually, hey, the game's actually getting some really decent reviews. I think it's trending. I really don't pay attention to Metacritic, but I looked it up anyway. I think it's at 87% or something.
87, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
yeah. I think I predicted 87.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
No.
I'm
telling you, I predicted 87.
No.
I will go find the tweet. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Listen, I think a famous football coach said it. The game is what we thought it was, right? So
that is great.
It is what it is. Like I said this a long time ago. I'll say it again. I predicted an 86, so it wasn't like I was doom and gloom by no stretch of the imagination. Insomniac's one of the better developers of this generation, hands down. You're not going to take anything away from these people. They're not going to give you a shitty product. They're just not.
Nope.
The game is #fun. It's a good time. It really is. However. And shout out to a couple people that I talked to that did formal reviews, and they said the same thing. They wrote me in the DMs when they couldn't, before the embargo, and they were like, Mooch, one thing you said that's kind of funny but true. They're like, the first hour when you're swinging around, you're kind of like, it's breathtaking, and you're kind of taken back, like, wow, they really nailed it. They said, but the map is so big that when you're playing later on and you have to go from one end of the world to the other, and you have to swing around on the 10th hour of the game, the swinging gets a little bit not only repetitive, but it gets a little monotonous and annoying because it's quite a distance where you're just swing to the left, swing to the right. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. It's cool. I can't wait to do it too. But on hour 10, 15, 25, 37, you're going to be like, swing to the right, swing to the left. So, my whole thing is like, it's a Spider-Man game, folks. There's nothing bad about that comment at all. It's just that it's collectibles, fight people on a roof, and swing around. That's what it is. And people that make it more than that is where I was kind of like, guys, you gotta, for you making more of it, tone it down. And for those of you saying it's shit, bring it up because it's not that either. It's a great game, but I didn't think it was as great. People were calling in. We're doing a giveaway on MNC, and it was Guess That Metacritic. Which we'll do the show. We're doing it on Sunday morning. And what's funny about it, people, the first 2 or 3 callers we got, they're like 96, 99 and a half. I'm like, dude, somebody feed these people. Everybody's blood sugar's too high. This thing's not a 99. For God's sakes. People go, Mooch, how the hell could you say that? How do you know things like this? But playing games for a long time, dude. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm 100% accurate all the time, but when you've been playing games as long as a lot of the people on this panel, you have a rough idea what you're getting into. You know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't like you turned on a game recently. You're like, you just dropped the controller. Your family was like, are you okay? And you're like, no, I'm not. I didn't see this coming. Come on, man. When was the last time? We know what we're getting into, and when people are sitting there throwing 95s, 97s, it's like, first of all, you look at the pedigree of Insomniac, and Insomniac has been doing predominantly mid-80s games, if you want to go by Metacritic, which I personally don't. But if you want to do numerical, you look at it that way. If you just want to look at their games for fun, right? Sunset Overdrive, I thought was the same thing. I didn't boat and gloam and go all mushy about Sunset Overdrive. That got stale after a while too. How many times was I going to hang around on a clothesline picking up sneakers and toilet paper rings? It is. I wasn't that enthralled there either. So what's fair is fair. So Spider-Man is really, the thing about it is this, guys, and I'll end it with this. I really do want to hear what you guys have to say. You do have to realize when you're dealing with the media or you're dealing with big YouTube channels, a lot of people that are into gaming are also big into comics. And that's okay. That's a lot of fun. but there's a little bit of that bias that'll pull you into that and say, hey, you know what? I'm a big Spider-Man fan. So now that Spider-Man is being made by a big AAA game maker, this game is just the bee's knees. This is everything. It's everything. It's 100. This game's 100. Why is it 100? Because you have 250 mint collection Marvel Spider-Man comics in your room. Okay, that's why it's 100 to you. But for the rest of us that have been swinging around with the other 8, 9, 10 games, it's going to be a much more beautiful interpretation of a Spider-Man game. And what I'm saying is that's okay. It's okay. I don't know. That's my take.
I got a question for you, Mooch, though, because this is a big point of contention on IOP right now. We got King and Addict going at it.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a big one, man. There's a bend the knee segment coming.
Okay.
When the MPD's going, and the thing is, King, Addict is of the mindset. Basically, it's going to be God of War versus Spider-Man, right?
Okay.
But from a financial standpoint, because we all know what God of War did when it dropped that month, and quote me, I don't know, $5 million. I forget what the number was off top. I got to speak to
$5 million.
Lord,
$5 million.
Five, yeah.
So the argument is, I understand where you're going, Mooch, as far as the quality of the game of the year competition versus the sales of the game. And that, to me, is very interesting because we have Spider-Man here who has a rabid fan base. And for all intents and purposes, Spider-Man's games have not overall been great. We've had a couple of games in pocket. I'll even include the Genesis one back then. I like that one. You know what I'm saying? But we've had like a few games, but for the most part, Spider-Man games ain't been that good, right? So how you have this game by Insomniac that looks really phenomenal. It looks like we survived Puddlegate. And it looks really good. Now, again, Metacritic-wise, it's not getting the God of War treatment, right? We can agree there. Yes. But I'm just curious to see what happens when people go to those stores, right?
Well, so now, what's the question between Addict and King?
The question between Addict and King is convinced that the Spider-Man base will ravishingly pick up this game and it will surpass what God of War did from the 5 milli standpoint, whether it be for the month, when the MPD comes out. And I think that's the question. I'm curious on what everybody on Black thinks.
I'm just gonna throw it out real quick. I firmly believe that God of War will hold both titles. It's gonna hold the title of Game of the Year. Let's put it this way.
You would Addict. That's what Addict's saying.
Yeah, it's gonna hold that as far as Sony's first party, and I believe that it will maintain the sales hold too. And the main reason, Cognito, is yes, there are a lot of Spider-Man fans out there, a lot. But you said it yourself. There's a ton of Spider-Man games, and a lot of them left a feeling in people's mouth. A lot of people aren't paying attention like we are right now. Spider-Man's Sony's doing a major push on their market, and we just went over that. Main reason being here is I think their Spider-Man advertising's trumping their God of War.
To be honest, I don't think God of War got the same push
it did not. No, it did not.
But the thing about God of War, though, here's one thing, and I'm going to leave it real on. I'm going to drop the mic real quick. Ready? That gameplay. God of War gameplay. Let me tell you something. You weren't that axe. That was a drop. That was a drop the controller kind of moment.
Yes.
That was something I have not done in a video game in forever. And there's not anything in Spider-Man that anyone could say that you haven't done a million times already.
Oh, it's gonna be lit.
That may be true. That may be true.
Come on, B. Come with it.
But
let's go, B.
Since the beginning of the year, Spider-Man will surpass the sales of God of War.
We're gonna take our bets.
We're talking about by the end of this year.
People have been knocking Spider-Man since this whole Puddlegate thing. But we must remember, God of War had their PlayStation 4 Pro Edition as well. Didn't sell out.
Yes.
Spider-Man PlayStation 4 Pro, can't find that joint nowhere.
Like that already be? Wow.
Collector's edition, sold out.
Mooch got his.
Right. You know what I mean? Sold out everywhere. You know what I mean? People, if you go on Twitter and just hashtag Spider-Man, all these people bought the game. Like so many people are screenshotting it. Like the hype for Spider-Man is.
Here's the thing.
King is smiling right now. B, keep talking.
B, I got to throw one wrench into there. I got to throw one wrench.
Yeah,
the problem is, B, is that these are comic book fans. Right?
So
these are people that are going to go hardcore.
Right.
When listen, they'll say this is what comic books folks. They'll be like, The comic book you already own, we put a shinier new cover on it and we labeled it number 120.
Oh my God.
And people are back out, right? So the fact that they got rid of these, right? They got rid of the custom consoles fast. That does not surprise me, and it shouldn't surprise you. But here's the thing. Those are limited edition. That means there's only so many made in both categories. The point of the matter is after the hoopla gets done, after week 2, I had people coming up that don't really game come up to me and say, yo, I heard that God of War is off the fucking hook. And they were like, you know what? It is. They go buy that. Spider-Man, no one's going to be like, hey, I heard you were swinging around for 5 hours. Yeah, I want to do that too.
All right, let me jump in and help my boy B.
Okay.
Look how long people went out and saw the Avengers, right? Saw it multiple times, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
you got people buying the console, there's a collector's edition and a digital edition. Like people are going super hard for Spider-Man. And like you said, these are people. Exactly. So
that's a minority. That's a minority.
But I gotta agree with B on one aspect, Mooch, because
add up at the end of the day.
Because of the also the mind share of the MCU universe right now with the movies in conjunction with it. Continue, B.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing, Kyle. I was going to help B with that too, because right now these things are at a fever pitch.
That's true.
And the difference between Spider-Man and God of War is Spider-Man is all access to every age.
Yep. Right.
I wouldn't let my daughter sit here and watch me play, God of War, but I'll let her, swing around the city and she knows Spider-Man. That's my daughter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. The fact that the MCU world right now is exploding, like right now there could be a Mooch action hero movie coming out in about 3 weeks. We get at least second at the box office on opening night. No, you're right. That's actually probably the best argument is to see if we're going to get that audience. But we don't necessarily. You've got a lot of people that are going to see these MCU that they're not. I don't think a lot of them. They're not all gamers. We're comic book people. They got a console somewhere, trust me. Okay, so we can't really confuse comic book people and moviegoers. But realistically, you make a good point with that. But again, I do want to get back to something. When it comes down to it, like we say, every one of us, the reason if you got a channel that's doing good and this, that, it's because of hard work. And ultimately, at the end of the day, when it comes down to the better game, and when people were talking, God of War is the better game, and that's why it will sell more overall. But Spider-Man can give it a run for it. B, don't get me wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just trying to say to you that realistically, I think it'll come down to the fact of we kind of make a joke about it. Unless Spider-Man can pick up a throwable axe, he's going to come a little short.
But that's why I think Spider-Man is going to win. God of War is for the hardcore gamer. The people who've been rocking with Kratos since PS3. You know what I mean?
That's allegiance right there.
They've been there. You know what I mean? They wanted to continue the story. Spider-Man is Spider-Man. It's for everybody.
It's going to be interesting to see.
It's for the casual. It's for the hardcore. It's for the comic book lover. It's for the movie lover. It's for people who don't even really care. Like they just want to own the Spider-Man console. So that sale also equates to the game being sold too. So all that factors in.
Yeah, I agree with B on this. I think Spider-Man's going to outsell God of War. Now, I think God of War it won. It had already. We know by how Metacritic goes that the Metacritic score for God of War is going to remain higher than Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not catching up or anything like that. But I agree with what E also said about Spider-Man crossing demographics. You got little kids who like it. You got your teenagers that like Spider-Man. You got your comic book fans. You got your gamers. Gamers are going to pick it up because it's a good game. It's so many different demographics that are interested in this game. Any game. They may be interested in this one. And this may be like how the casual gamer always picks up Call of Duty, always picks up Madden or FIFA. And then they may also pick up like one more game that they hear about. This would be that one more game because it's Spider-Man. And they know who Spider-Man is. And they may be still a little shook up about Infinity War. They want to,
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
They might be still a little shook up over Infinity War. Might want to see Spider-Man one more time, So we'll see what happens. But I think Spider-Man's going to outsell it. I don't know about being like the most sold game this year. I think that still might be I don't know, like a youth
Call of Duty.
It's Call of Duty.
Yo,
Call of Duty
something
or
like that.
Red Dead or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow-mo, I said this earlier in the year. I thought that Spider-Man would benefit off the residual effects of Infinity War. I really, and I still believe that. I think that Spider-Man, unlike Kratos, has broader mass appeal. And you got to remember, Sony's at a point now where, as we know, when you look at console sales, when you start getting those astronomical numbers of 80, 90 million consoles sold, I mean, you get there through the casual gamers, that 90% of the market that's going to go out and buy these consoles. And I think that because of the we talked about someone talked about nostalgia earlier, and Mooch, I've heard you say this a lot too. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Sure is.
I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia behind Spider-Man
in
this game, and Sony's going to be marketing the hell out of this. I mean, they already are.
And you have to remember, Sony has an animated movie, Spider-Man animated movie, coming out this holiday season.
And
Miles
Venom
Morales in that movie.
But just in the game.
We know Miles Morales is also in the Spider-Man game. We know that there's expansions around the Spider-Man game. We don't know if Miles Morales is going to be Spider-Man or not. Right. But that's also good.
It's funny. I think a lot of the key points that you guys are making, they're good points. But like I say, you go 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks into the future after the game comes out, and then you're just a casual Joe Blow walking through the GameStop, and you're looking, and you're like, oh, the Amazing Spider-Man, the Invincible Spider-Man, Spider-Man made by Insomniac. All right, it's just what I'm saying to you is that what you guys are saying, its strength. I think after its initial launch is also where it fades into the other 10, 15 Spider-Man games in GameStop. It's like there's a million of them. They're all over the place. So what I'm saying to you is that where God of War changed things, and the people who love Kratos and that hardcore PlayStation fan, you ask every person that has a PlayStation in their house, I'm not going to say everybody because you can never be an absolute, but they're going to be like, I'm waiting for God of War. I'm waiting for Kratos. Those people a year ago wouldn't have been like, I'm waiting for Spider-Man. They're like, no, I'm waiting for God of War, and that's the thing. I think what's happening here is I think a lot of times we kind of let that comic book mentality, our childhood, kind of come out and be like, well, everyone knows who Spider-Man is.
Right.
That's true. But I don't think that and don't forget too, what are our eyes set to, all of us hardcore? We're all on Twitter. We're all on social media. So what are you with? The comic book people, and it's like they're all right here, and we're all talking. We all went to go see the Marvel movies. We all went to go see. But I think when it comes down to it, I saw so many random people in my everyday life that were like, "Hey, is this God of War really truly something I should pick up? I heard this thing is sick." Right. I don't necessarily know if those same casuals are going to be like, "I played Spider-Man when I was a kid. I don't really like flinging around all that."
It's a great argument. It's a great argument because it basically comes down to, let's be real, like the excellence of God of War is what shot it to the top. The game was just technically and just great gameplay, and
the mechanics.
So it took it to another level, which actually did its own marketing. In a
sense,
when
you're fighting with Kratos, right? And you threw that axe, you froze that dude from far off. You felt like a badass when you did that too, by the way. You flung that thing. It's holding him over there. Then you're just hitting him. Shield, uppercut. And then you see another dude coming at you. You summon it and then throw it right at that dude's head. Dude, for a split second, if I blindfolded you, you would have gave yourself a superhero name.
Listen.
I mean, that you're not. I got news for you. You're gonna love the free feeling, floating aspect of Spider-Man, but you're not gonna feel that Kratos moment. You're not gonna feel that this weekend.
I get what you're saying, but I guess where I'm siding a little bit with being them in the standpoint is that sometimes as gamers we confuse excellence with what actually sells, right? Because I can't stand Call of Duty anymore. I'm done with that series. I'm not going back to another Call of Duty game. That's just where I am as a gamer right now. But when I sit there and if I compared, like, I'm more of a Battlefield guy, so to speak, right? So if I compare the two, in my opinion, Battlefield is a superior game. But come November, what tends to happen
every year? Yeah.
So again, this is going to be close. I don't know what's going to happen, Mooch. I'll be honest. This is one I'm very curious to see.
Oh, I'm interested to see too. Now, when did we find out the 5 million? When did we find out?
Dude, I'm trying to get Matt on the show, man, because I need to get that information, that raw data
I want to know when God of War announced their 5 million. Was it after
I remember
like
they
3
did,
weeks,
like,
2 weeks, a month?
They
It was
did
after
3 in 1 week, I believe. After
right? It was like
It was 3 million after the first week.
Yeah, something
Right.
crazy. So I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. That was insane. This is gonna be.
And don't
so
forget, guys,
interesting.
you know, we sit here, and I'm one of the first people to tell you that I think Metacritic doesn't really matter. But you want to sit there, and don't forget, God of War's embargo lifted like 2 weeks before it came out.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
had
That's
everybody talking
Yeah.
9.5,
Right.
9.7,
10,
9.9, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
makes people go, I wasn't even going to buy that shit, but
Yes.
I'm buying a 10. I want to have that in my wall.
You're
So
right.
this is the thing. Not this, by no means is an 8.7 bad. Let's just put that on the table. 8.7 is if I made a game, I got an 8.7, I'd be drunk right now. So listen, that's a great score, but it ain't a 10. And
It's a good argument. This is a great,
and that's where, I think even the hardcore can see that, and that's what I'm saying. And B, this is what it comes back to, okay? It comes back to that longevity sale. I don't even care if Spider-Man does the 3 million, because we could all get back together in a week and be like, see, Mooch, there you go. 1 week later, 3 million. They're going to surpass him. Not really. Everything always speeds up. It's just like everything in the movies. Opening weekend, boom. What happens on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th weekend in the box office? When you still got that movie in the #1 spot on the 4th weekend, that's a blockbuster.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Do you think they have DLC coming
the
out?
The holiday season is going to play a major factor for Spider-Man. All the little kids
and God of War
are going to see Spider-Man. I think God of War has hit its peak. You know what I mean? You'll get the people who pick it up when it's $20 for Black Friday and whatnot.
Right.
But I think this tail from September to end of November is going to be prime time for Spider-Man.
Oh, I agree.
It won't have like these crazy, $1 million weeks, every week.
Right.
But I think it's going to be steadily consistent.
Yeah, I also
be fun
think
to see.
I also think the DLC will help it. The DLC, they're coming out with a DLC episode once a month all the way to December.
Really? It's once a month? Wow.
Yeah.
It's once a month.
October, November, December, it should be 3 episodes. I don't know how meaty those are, pause. But I don't know how big those DLCs would be. But
Slomo's very upset about that, by the way.
Hey, I'm not super upset. I know some people may thought I was really upset about it last week. I really
you were upset, man.
I'm not. I don't too much agree with dropping DLC so soon after a game releases, but I do believe that it will keep the game in people's minds for the rest of the year. Because when those DLCs come out, you're going to get people talking about it. You're going to get YouTube channels talking about it. It's going to remain in the community mindshare. And so that's good for Insomniac and Sony. I don't really think, me personally, I would rather have like one big DLC expansion like 6 to 8 months later. But that's just me.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, Forte.
No, I was going to say, so to give it a little insight, God of War pre-orders were almost double what Spider-Man there are at GameStop right now. Mostly because of the time God of War came out. God of War came out in spring. It pretty much had a whole month almost to itself. I forget, there was some other games that came up, but nothing as big as that one. And even knowing Detroit Become Human came out the next month, it still wasn't big enough to even take away any of the sales that God of War was going to get over that next month that it came out. Where Spider-Man is still coming on one platform. It's not a multi-platform game. And then on top of that, they're looking at more of collectible sales being sold with that game than anything else. GameStop is looking at that game as being more of a purchase with other things type title versus just being the game by itself. And that's also because it's coming out during the holidays. There is a lot of games coming out this holidays, and everybody is not as gifted and thankful as we are, where we can get most of these games and play them, or
that makes a hell of a point,
or just allow them to sit on our backlog. Like most of us can allow a game to sit on a backlog that costs $60. Most people can't do that, so that's going to it's not going to hurt the game initially because it's coming out in September. But when you get down to like October, November, Fallout 76 is in December. Then you also got the same people. You got Kingdom Hearts 3 releasing in January. So there's a whole bunch of games, like literally game after game after game throughout the month of those months.
Well, here's the thing, Forte, you make a hell of a point. And shout out you guys. I don't know if you guys all know Brutal. Brutal's on Twitter. A lot of people hang with him too. And Brutal said, "Hey, I'm gonna because he's got his PlayStation. He just said they said when you're gonna pick up Spider-Man. He goes, I don't know. I'll pick it up when I pick it up. And his main reason was he's like, I got Destiny, I got NBA 2K. He's like, I'm probably gonna pick up. I think he's gonna pick up one of those like a Red Dead or something. He goes, I don't need." The thing, it goes back to what I was saying before about the game itself. We got to like break down the game and stop talking about just the top layer and the piece of paper that's on the front of it, right? Just Spider-Man's on the front of it, Kratos is on the front of it. What's actually in the game? You know what you're about to play tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So if you only got money, like Forte said, we are blessed to be able to say we're going to get all these games. A lot of people are going to say, you know what? My boys are getting Call of Duty. I know I got to put that money out, right? I know I'm getting Red Dead. That's his personal favorite of mine. And let's just say, I know people are going to kind of chuckle or something, but I'm not this person. Someone might be like, I'm a car nut. I'm buying my Forza Horizon 4. I'm getting that. Well, I'll wait. I'll get Spidey when it's $20 in the bin. You know what I mean? Like, because there's nobody who's going to be like, you won't believe what I did yesterday in Spider-Man. Swing around? How do you know?
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck you find out? You know what I mean? Like, so like that's, you know what I mean? These are the situations, right? You know? So, I mean, and Brutal's hardcore, man. Brutal loves his shit. He loves his Spider-Man stuff. But he's like, I'm going to put that off because I'm going to spend my money somewhere else. And that's what Forte's saying. I didn't even think of that. But that's true. You got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, the launch window definitely plays a factor. We can't ignore that.
That's true. The launch windows, that
it
could
definitely
hurt.
plays a factor.
That's a great point. Because, I mean, there's other games dropping this week. NBA 2K.
Yeah.
Forsaken drop Tuesday.
I mean, think about that. NBA 2K and Spider-Man come out on the same day.
That's
I didn't
crazy.
know that.
Yeah.
People dropping $120 like it's nothing.
Dude, people's dropping $100 just to get 2K 4 days early.
That's crazy.
I ain't know 2K.
I'm done with that. I did that a couple times this generation.
2K.
I ain't doing that no more.
Yeah, standard edition comes out next week on Tuesday. The anniversary edition, which is $100, is Friday.
So they're doing the 4 days. Oh, that's a factor.
Remember, and that's kind of sleazy. And I didn't talk about it. It's kind of sleazy because before, even if you pre-ordered the game, no matter what version you pre-ordered, they gave you the 4-day early access. Okay. Now you can only get that with the $100 version of the game.
Wow.
So you got about $100 version to get that.
Yeah.
You got about $100 version to get it. And guess what?
Like that.
Hey, guess what? I have more pre-orders of that version of the game than I do the standard version. So that lets you know people are voting with their wallets on that point.
People are okay with it.
People are okay with it.
2K season is upon us. I'm trying to tell you.
You know, I got to get back into 2K. You guys, one of you guys got to talk me into it, or somebody in the audience got to mooch that for me, hook me up. Because you know, I last time I played it was 15. I haven't got back. I'm on that Madden. I'm on Madden right now. Madden's nice.
Madden's nice this year.
It's real nice. But yeah, 2K, man, that's probably one of the most beautiful sports games, and it handles so well. It's hard. I know Live gave it a run for its money this year, but nah.
I'm going with that 2K, bro.
Yeah, 2K.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the DM that it's good that Live is back and actually making some strides because that competition.
Yes, absolutely.
Is Live any good? Is that good now?
Live is actually really good this year.
It's gaining ground, man.
Really?
It's good.
But we need that. We need that because the better Live gets, the less likely 2K is going to really bend the 2K gamers over with the PC coins and points and stuff
2K ain't gonna stop bending nobody over. What y'all talking about?
Just make it a little bit easier. They'll just make it a little bit easier for you to level your character, but you will still see that PC.
No lube, man. Forte just told y'all. The most pre-ordered version of 2K is the one that you can get 4 days early. It costs $100.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Look, if Live keeps making progress, maybe by 2020, that 2K
Live got to pull a 2K and come out for $20.
Live gonna have to come out for $9.99.
Forte, I don't know if you want to go back. Yeah, we know what happened last time that happened, man.
The bargain, man.
It's basically got to be free. It got to be a free to play game. for people to go play 2K, to go play live on 2K.
Hey, look,
2K is crazy
2K
right
did
now.
That to EA back in the day, maybe they'll, hey,
But 2K was good
don't
though.
do that.
2K was good. 2K
It
was
was
a better
very good.
product.
2K was a better game.
Yeah.
It was a better
In
product.
some aspects, in some
Mhm.
aspects, it's still a better game than Madden today. But I ain't gonna try.
Oh,
I
you're
ain't
so
trying to go
disrespectful.
there. I ain't trying to open that can of worms. I'm sorry, Cognito. I had to say it.
Nah, the 2K football contingent very strong.
If you look at what they did when they did that, because they did it with all their sports games that year.
Yes,
Every
it is.
product that year was better than what EA was putting out.
Yeah. And
1999,
they were
baby.
killing them, but it's a combination because not only were the products better, they were killing them on price. Wasn't it like $20?
It was
$20.
Yep,
Like,
and it
how
came
could
out
you
like
not
three
buy the better
weeks
game
earlier.
that was $20?
Yeah.
It was getting killed those years. I remember. So they just straight up bought that exclusivity license from the NFL.
Yo,
they get them out of there.
They were letting 2K do their thing until they hit that $20 price point. EA was like, nope,
Yup.
nope,
We're gonna buy the license. Yep.
They match price and got the license, I believe, the next year. I was just
And
like,
right
wow.
now, we were talking about in the DM, the NFL is just dumb for the fact that they're still allowing that to happen.
No, they didn't match price. They just didn't make a game after that.
Yeah. I mean, who would buy it? It didn't have any NFL teams, none of your favorite players, not your favorite team there.
After that, it was done. Yeah,
it was done.
Yeah, that was a wrap after that.
2K tried to do it with all pro football, and that still didn't work.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Not
You
a good
have
effort.
you have those licensed teams and stuff.
Yeah,
You know.
So, wait, gentlemen, we are at the 12 o'clock hour here. We have 2 hours in the podcast. I want to go ahead and wrap up the podcast. So, truthfully speaking, I can go back and play some Destiny 2, some Forsaken.
Yes, sir.
Not playing it right
Yes.
I know it's before we get out of here. I know it's Destiny season. Has anyone touched the Battlefield beta?
I have
now.
not.
Yes,
No,
I
I've
did.
not.
I played
Not
it
yet.
yesterday morning before Forsaken launched.
How is it? How is it being?
If you are a fan of, well, how can I say this? All the problems that they had in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4, like with the recoil, sway, and in air like weapon accuracy and stuff, is way better in the game. Like the what is it called? The what's the name when you're getting shot and you have the hey, what is that?
Boxes?
Yeah, well,
Hitboxes
you know how
better.
they have when you're getting shot at, you have that. Oh, the suppression. The suppression in the game is non-existent. Like you still see it, but it doesn't affect your gunplay anymore. You still can shoot accurately while you're under it. You just have a little bit of a HUD blur when you're taking fire. But overall, dude, it's really good. The only problem with this game I see is the fact that it's World War II and not Modern Warfare.
Yep.
And if they and it's kind of sad because I think Call of Duty doing it and Battlefield doing it at the same time is what really accelerated this need to not want to do this anymore. And if anything, it will be 2 more years until we hopefully get another Battlefield that's Modern Warfare. If not, they'll go Bad Company 3, which a lot of people want, but I don't know if they really want to do that either.
I'd like to see Bad Company 3. I feel like a lot of us, well, a lot of gamers have been asking for that game. I mean, after Bad Company 2, which I thought was great, they just kind of I think they've teased it enough that they should at least come out with it soon.
Yeah, Battlefield Bad Company 3 needs to be the next Battlefield game. What I've played from the beta, it has been pretty solid. I think the only thing that I kind of dislike is the amount of ammo that you carry. Like I'm on there doing my thing. I'm mowing people down, and it's like, damn, I ain't got no ammo left. So I'm running around, with the little pistol, and then I finally die. So it's just like, the support classes aren't there. They had like a little bit of an issue with like the spawning and stuff, like early on when I was playing it. So I think they fixed that, but I think just playing with randoms and stuff like that, you don't really get the full experience. Of how the squad should play together. But the accuracy is there. I think the game looks pretty good. I think it's still fun to play, but it just feels like there's something missing.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, Game Man's in the chat, so he told me that's it for y'all. He said, "Where are you at? What's going on? Y'all still talking?" I have been summoned by my clan.
Yes, you have. All right.
Shout out to Lord Attic, man.
Yeah, big shout out to Attic. So, gentlemen, great conversation. Great panel tonight, by the way. And Mooch, man, great having you on, man.
Man, I hope it's not the last time. This is a hell of a group right here, guys. I love talking games, man. And this is, like I said it in the beginning, I'll say it at the end. This is the time of year where we kind of all get hyped and excited for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, playing Destiny way too late into tonight is what's going to happen for a lot of us. A lot of people are going to be, all our local coffee shops are going to be taking advantage of us tomorrow morning. And then I can't speak for you guys, but like the second I get home from that football game, I'm hooking up my Spider-Man console. And I'm getting right into that, and I'll be on that all weekend. So, man, thanks for having me, Enrique. I appreciate it. Good to hang out with Slow-Mo. Definitely Cognito, Forte. E, good to finally hang out with you.
Yeah, man.
And you know what I'm saying? That's a long time coming as well. And Brandon, B, good to hang out with you for the first time. Hopefully it's not the last. I got to have you guys on Crossfire. You guys are all, like, just great in the community. And thanks again, Enrique. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. My pleasure. We'll definitely have to get you back on Brap again, man.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, talk some more video games. Forte, man, always a pleasure, man, having you on. Always appreciate how you keep it real, Slow-Mo. Kind of keep him in check a little bit.
hey, now.
No, man, I really appreciate it. No, for real. When you sent me the DM yesterday, I was like, oh, yeah, Destiny's out. He definitely wants to talk about that Destiny and bury Slow-Mo a little bit more. But no, I really appreciate it. When I saw all the people that was going to be out here, I was even more excited because the one thing I can say is this week, as much as all that Spider-Man conversation with downgrading has been going on, I've been concentrating on something that actually came out and is actually playable this week and not caring about a game that I'm not going to play for another 2 days. So that is what I am thankful for. And I'm thankful to have all you guys in the community with us because you guys are awesome. And I like listening to everything you guys have to say across all these different games and genres. So keep up the good work on that too.
Yeah, no, man, much appreciated. And Lord Cognito, man. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Man, this was fun. I broke all type of protocols.
You were supposed to give us an hour at a time, man.
Oh man, Brap, shout out to the chat. Everybody, man, was lit. This was so much fun. Long overdue. We said we were gonna do it for a while because Lord Cognito's a vampire. I'm normally at work at this time for Forsaken week. So we had to do something special. But yeah, shout out to Mooch too. Good to link up with him again, man. We had him in the round. It was so much fun. So much fun. That man's gaming history is legendary. So that was great. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was great.
I got a chance to kick my man B. Oh man. So this Tick fan. That's the fan right there. So I get a chance to check it out with him. Forte, this was great, man. This is really cool. Really liked your mindset, your opinions on a lot of stuff. Got to get you in the realm as well as Slow-Mo, who haven't been on yet. It's about haven't been on yet.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, we got to get you guys in the realm as well. Have some fun. And yeah, man, this was really good, man. Definitely look forward to it again. Hopefully, when I'm not vampire lifing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, this is a holiday, man. You deserve this one.
I owe myself this one. I told my boss. Destiny comes out. I told my boss that. He was like, do what you got to do. I know you run a podcast. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. And by the way, everyone who's listening and who's going to listen to this later on, if you want to give these guys a follow on Twitter, I did drop their Twitter handles in the description section below. So definitely give everyone a follow. Give Mooch, Gaming Forte, and Cognito a follow as well. And just a quick reminder, we are a Tick affiliate.
Yeah.
So definitely check out the Inner Circle Gaming Network. Drop the link in the description as well. So, Slow-Mo, B, Eric, always a pleasure, gentlemen.
Absolutely,
no doubt, man.
Yeah, this is a great show, man. I enjoyed the hell out of this. Mooch, so glad to finally podcast with you. I always listen to your stuff, and you're awesome.
Appreciate
Cognito as well.
Thank you, bro.
Sundays are lit. I'm always in the chat with you guys. It's fun. And Forte, I talk to Forte bum ass every day.
No choice but to talk to my bum ass. And just to let you know, MOC is not on Sundays anymore, sir. It's on Thursdays.
Okay, that's right.
It's true. However, I gotta say we are doing a special on this Sunday because I got that football draft tomorrow.
Oh,
fellas.
football.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of which, the Lord even bends the knee to Roger Goodell in the NFL. We will be moving. Good. Not at 1 p.m. Eastern if you're coming in on Sunday. We're also moving. Yeah, we're going to be at 11 for a little while, probably till about January. So
God, one of these days, you
stuff
guys
as well.
gonna be able.
There you go.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
was like, God, one of these days, you guys are gonna be able to take on the NFL.
Yeah, right.
It's coming.
We're ready for that smoke. We're ready. Plus, I got fantasy drafts now, man. I got to get my lineup ready.
Fantasy football. That time of year.
Yes,
sir.
Football.
All right. Again, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. We'll be back next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, everyone have a great rest of the week and enjoy your time gaming. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.